in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you? Into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, cause you can't stop it from shining through.
Let's go.
system that we made, breaking everyone you that we will create. Overthrow the greed, cause why should we suffocate? That is how to come, yeah, I will lead us home, yeah, I will lead us.
Inte effektivt.
Got a ticket to nowhere. Come and fly away with me tonight. Can you stay till the morning? Can you tell me that everything's alright? Lose my mind and I'm falling for you. I can't help but be in need of us two. Got a ticket to nowhere. When the fighting is over, it goes on and on and on and on, on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on, on and on and on. In your eyes, on your body. You don't have to tell me you don't care. I just need you to hold me. I just need you to show me anything. Lose my mind and I'm falling for you. I can't help but be in need of us two. Got a ticket to nowhere. When the fighting is over, it goes on and on and on and on, on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on, on and on and on. It goes. After all this time, you're still on my mind, baby. I cannot live with you, you're still on my mind. Until the day I keep you on my mind with me. I cannot live with you, you're my sweet escape. I don't know if I'm still in love. I don't know if I'll give it up. But I know that I ain't enough. I know, I know, I know, I know. Been thinking about you every day. Been thinking if you were okay. I ask myself what I would say if I saw you one day.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am confused.
We're live. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. By the way, y'all, welcome to Hold My Pen Promptcast. If it looks like I'm a little off kilter, that's because there's a chair beside me. I'm here. Here I am. Seeing live and in real time how the back end goes.
Probably not going to retain any of this, but I'll try.
Well, it is what it is, right? I mean, neither one of our brains is good on the memory, but time to get better contacts, apparently.
No, I have to give up my close vision and use glasses when I have to read. See, to read without my contacts, I have to take my glasses off. I know, it makes no sense, does it?
I just work here. I just work here. That is what it is. By the way, if anybody sees Ms. McCormick or Mr. Power pop into the basement over there or to the side and says that they want uppies, please let me or Julie know or whatnot, so that way we can yell at us, all capitals, right? So that way we can get them up here. That being said, Julie, what are our tentative totals? Because we do have some people who have asked for some additional time before getting them in for tomorrow's show. What's our tentative total here?
One moment, please. Our tentative total for this week is 23,515 words.
Holy schmoly. And yeah, I know Julie was trying to figure out which words of her nearly 10,000 to submit so that I don't drive 7.5 hours to
Play whack-a-mole.
Very proud of Julie that she's trying, that she's getting like word counts similar to mine. I don't envy the trying to choose what to send.
right.
Yeah.
So this does highlight something that we've talked about. Starting the anniversary show, there is going to be a average limit on how many words because you guys are killing it. How many submitters do we got this week?
12.
12. Now I've poked around on Twitch and I have found that some people are charging to submit prompts. Some are charging to have your submission, and it's how they make money. So not begrudging that. That's not what Julie and I ever wanted. We wanted it free for all. All money that we earn from the Prime subscriptions, ad revenue, all of that is going back into the newsletter, website, just it's all going back into Hold My Pen Promptcast and not this and not into our pockets. This is not our job where we get paid. It's our job, but it's not where we get paid. So there won't be any charge for word count, limit, submissions, any of that ever. Okay. Because a rising tide lifts all ships, and that's the plan. The whole point is to give you real-time feedback on what you're submitting, the progress you're making. The Discord is for, hey, this scene just is mucking with my head. The developmental editing aspect of it, all for free because it does take a village. Before we were just talking about this the other day in Hold My Pen with some of the Hold My Pen / the Authors Pub members that we originally came from. You know, it's that before we found this group of people, of like-minded individuals, it was legitimately a solo track. Writing is a solo thing. It is very isolating. And when you're a single mom, single dad, or even married mom, married dad saying, staying at home, and all you've got is those few snippets of time where you have the ability to write, and the rest of the time you're taking care of kids or whatever. All you want is human adult contact. And that's why we also don't censor us. We don't censor our words. This is adult time. Our show is not able to be found by children accounts either here or on YouTube. Because this is adult time. All right. And not that kind of adult time. B, I know where your brain went. I know where your brain went. So, yeah, this is just all right, Bitzer. This is just our community. This is our writing group. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But there is going to be a soft limit, 2,500, because yes, we're breaking this up into 2 nights, but it is late enough, and I have a day job. And come Sunday night, if I'm staying up too late, and then I'm a lifelong insomniac, takes me 2, 3, 4 hours to come down off of the amazing show that we have every single time. And I can't fall asleep. I can't wake up for work the next day. Please don't make me lose my job after I got my sought after promotion. So, yeah, samesies, because this one often has to go to work before I do. I at least have a boss that says, yeah, you can't get into work before 9:30. We're never going to schedule you before 9:30.
Oh, most days I have to close, but it's
Yeah.
taking my kid to school.
Yeah, I don't have to
killing
worry.
me.
I don't have to worry about taking kids to school. No.
Yeah,
I have
you
all
don't have
adults.
to worry about getting your kid to school by 7 o'clock.
Yeah, let's not even go there about our local school system. That's a whole nother topic. So, all told, how many did you say that we got?
12. I meant bop, bop, dop. But
Okay. So we've got 12. I know we up first we have quite a few shorter ones, so we're actually going to be able to get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those 12 tonight. We've got heavy hitters tomorrow night with
yeah.
higher word counts. So, that being stated, we're going to get through most of them tonight and get the heavy hitters done tomorrow. Remember that the earlier you submit in the week, the more likely you are going to be on Saturday night. The later you submit, likely to be Sunday night. Please try to get your submissions in by 3 p.m. Central Time to the Hold My Pen Promptcast at gmail.com email. It's you know our handle by this point. Also, don't forget to go to the profile, sign up for the newsletter if you want it in your inbox, and baby, what do you mean 25?
I think she thought I said 25 when it was 12.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we're not up to 25 submitters yet, but to have 12 people submit for one weekend, you guys are rock stars.
How many did we start out the year with?
Our first show, we had 6 submitters. Our first show of 2025, we had 6 submitters.
We have doubled that number.
We have doubled, right? We had 5,800 words, and y'all are blowing it out of the water. Sometimes 40 minutes can be the most amazing thing in the freaking world, right? Nathan, okay, for example, Nathan Stark, one of our newest prompters, right? Document got corrupted. Okay, so spent a lot of time on it, remembered most of it, had his notes, but the file got corrupted. And how long did it take Nathan to rewrite it?
Less than 12 hours.
Less than 12 hours to rewrite it, in between other things that he had going on, doing it from memory. And when I tell you that grammar and that punctuation was spot fucking on from memory in less than 12 hours, look, some of the best shit is done in small amounts of time. K-Night, welcome back. Good to have you here.
K-Night still owes me, word count, story.
Let's just give K-Night a little bit of grace. There's
I
been
do
some
want grace.
shit.
I see. I know. And, I'm not coming after him with the wiffle ball bat yet.
No, but I got plenty of other things to go after him with a wiffle ball bat for. When your 2 oldest friends are part of your passion project, one being K-Night and one being the woman sitting next to me, I have privilege to beat him with a wiffle ball bat if I want to.
I'm sitting next to you.
Oh yeah, you're a figment of my imagination that I conjured into being in 1997.
You summoned me.
I summoned. Look, okay, this is my imaginary friend. We're all hallucinating together. Okay, yeah, that fell flat. It's fine. No. I've known her since 1997, K-Night. I've known you since 1996. You know, my junior year, you're freshman. Youngin'. All right. Any hoozle. Oh, Jesus Christ, baby B. All right, so we've covered the fact that starting January 3rd's submission, keep it around 2,500 within reason. If you've gone past 27, cut it down. All right. We've also covered how far we've come since coming over to Twitch, and we could not be happier about that. Nutter has brought in with some soft core cajoling Death's Head. We've also gotten Geller and Luna who have joined the Discord, and the new faces have been fantastic. And to quote myself, we licked you. You're ours now. Fit right in. And you don't always have to have your camera on, just because I like to look at myself now. Cajoling? Cajoling. Cajoling. Google's free. All right. Oh, also, speaking of definitions, in our sprinting channel, there is also a dictionary. So you can do /define space and type in your word. And if the dictionary knows what the hell you were trying to type, it will give you the definition.
If you can spell it.
K-Night?
Though talk to text does work in there too.
K-Night? Don't make me look at county records. I can find you. Any hoozle.
Because she is our Google queen.
Oh, not only that, but I've learned tricks working in the financial industry.
Yep, sure have.
And just to emphasize, we are writers. Anything we can't say, it may be thoughts for stories.
Yeah, that. Speaking of other disclosures and disclaimers, hey, this was doctored, so you can imagine where I'm at in my mental capacity. Our voices and these stories, which we have permission from the authors by sheer fact of submission, are not to be used to train AI. They are not for use. They are not free form to create your own story or claim as your own. If you hear it here first, it belongs to the author's name that you will see below the screen. I think we've handled all the things. I know Julie's been experiencing some brain fog recently, so I just kind of went. Also, ADHD squirrel brain. So, is what it is. All right.
I have it between the squirrel and the sickness. It's like at this particular point, I think my squirrel has abandoned his wheel, and I'm just stuck in limbo at this point.
She's upright in this side of the dirt.
I'm having trouble getting mine down to a suitable amount of words. I would never put this many words in a chapter, ever. But somehow I did it this time.
It takes as many words as it takes. Them's dangerous words, K-Night. Any hoozle. Up first tonight. Always, first prompter, first submission so many times. Like, first. Trisha is the first. Our first fan, our first prompter, our first everything. And the first person in our group to attend that many fucking shows. So, we're good to go. We do have an incoming ad break, so it might be a good idea for me to get a refill. If anybody, one additional thing that I wanted to make mention, chit chat in the side. If I'm reading out, or Kesh is reading out, or Julie's reading out, if somebody's reading it out, feel free to blast a whole crap ton of text in that side chat. The more active that side chat is, the less likely we are going to have ads. That's the way we set it up. So the more active y'all are tip-tap typing away, the less likely ads are going to be. And this is important. This is important. Why? Because not everybody here has Amazon Prime. I mean, big evil daddy Bezos. So not everybody has Prime to be able to dump their Prime gaming subscription on us. And so some people do have to deal with ads, and then they don't get the full story. So the more often that you guys are tip-tap typing away, yes, say that 3 times fucking fast, the less likely we are to get ads. So, with that being said, I'm going to step back. I'm going to get a refill, and we will start here in about 3 to 5 minutes. Bing, bing, boom. Mm-hmm. Ooh, hello.
So, for anyone in the Germanic world, today is Nikolaustag. It's like the German Christmas. My child may have gotten his gifts early this year. So how's everyone doing?
Well, I'm hanging in there about as best I can right now. How is Julie feeling? Julie feels like a little less like she got hit by a truck. I am still very squeaky, still very froggy. I think I used most of my voice earlier today, which I should have known better, but I did it anyway. So I will talk as much as I can tonight.
Am I laugh again?
Ooh, she wants a lap dance. Woo! Okay, any hoozle. No, I want to crawl into the chair just to prove that this almost 46-year-old body still got it.
Mine does.
Well, I know yours does. Look at that. This is what 27, 28 years worth of friendship with a best friend is. Can you read that?
Yeah, das ist gut. This is good.
Yes, das is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure her eyeballs still work.
I can read that. It's far enough away from my face.
Oh,
It's
that's
right
fair.
here.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Did Kesh have to
All
take
right.
out her contacts?
No, this is with my contacts. I can't read I can't see anything like close to my face with my contacts in.
Look, our eyes are fucked. Okay.
Okay, just checking.
And don't give me any kind of bullshit, because you're actually supposed to be wearing glasses too, and somebody don't go to the doctor
I
to get them
cannot
glasses.
afford to go get my eyes rechecked and go get new glasses.
I know. I'm just stating facts, not passing judgment. Promise.
And
Oh,
here's
let
the
me.
kicker: most of the people in this group have never seen me with glasses on.
I have, but it's been a long time.
Very long time. I
And
think
we're
it's
not
been like
counting
2
the
years.
sunglasses that you
Yeah,
always wear.
my sunglasses are usually plastered on my head, so during certain times of the year.
Okay, good. No Snapchat shit. Okay, great. Okay. I don't even want to know about pre-wrapped sausages. I'm just walking on by. So ad break ends, according to my one screen, in about a minute and a half.
Who? talking about?
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
I mean,
Hold on.
even though K-Night is like a friend of mine close to 30 years, I'm just sitting here going, dude, what's going on in your head? Normally I can read it like a fucking book, but damn.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just went back a few
I-
swipes. No context for us.
No context for us. I'll hear about it later.
You'll have to inform me once you find out.
Unless it's inappropriate, then I'm not sharing.
But let's talk about level of inappropriateness.
Oh yeah, because I don't have a level.
Exactly.
It's going to be one of them nights, people.
I'm too sober for this.
And I might be a little bit too inebriated for that. Oh, and it's very hot in here. This is the second hottest room in the house. So,
okay, so it's not just me.
It is not just you. And of course, I move into this room with my bed back there right as I'm going through perimenopause. What the fuck was I thinking? Oh, wait. I wanted to get away from my son snoring. Oh, we definitely can. That does mean that I gotta crawl across your lap again.
And I'm complaining how?
It's one of them nights, babe.
Wow.
Woo, doggy.
I feel so much better already.
I know, right?
I was in a very stuffy workplace all day today. I got dehydrated because we were so busy. I'm like, so I'm driving over to Izzy's from work, and I am just popping cherry tomatoes in my mouth because I am hungry and thirsty. And I wanted something. So I got some cherry tomatoes.
Okay, it's going to be. Damn, it's like I'm in my 20s again.
You gonna survive?
Crawling all over things? Okay, we weren't even this crazy back in Green Bay. I don't.
It's the hormones.
It's the hormones. That's what we're going with. Reading comments. Like I said, Kane knows me very, very well. Sure, you may not be verbalizing that you're taking the bait, but your brain is going. All right, anyway, any hoozles, all of this to have Trisha's name underneath this for the entire freaking time. Let's get into actually reading the story. Here we go. I stood in... Somebody's got the giggles now. Okay. I stood in the middle of the farmhouse's living room, surrounded by an artificial Christmas tree box and boxes and containers of ornaments and decorations. I sighed as I moved the furniture around to make room for the tree. While I was setting up the tree, the memories of when the kids were small and how they used to want to help me decorate for the holidays. So I would make sure the tree was all set up, ready to go, so when they got home from school or woke up from their naps, so they could help me put ornaments on the tree. I smiled, remembering their laughs when they wrapped themselves in garland. I sighed as I put the last part of the tree up. My kids are now grown with families of their own. My husband walks in while I was on a ladder putting garland on the top part of our very tall tree. Honey, why are you putting that big old tree up? It's just you and me. You know it makes me happy to decorate for the holidays, even if it's just you and me. Plus, I love this old tree. It has been part of damn near every Yule and Christmas since the kids were little, I said, putting the same rustic star tree topper we have always used. Now, Marie, I have always told you we don't have to we don't have to celebrate Christmas. Just because I'm Christian doesn't mean we have to celebrate Christmas. I am perfectly happy celebrating Yule with you. He sighed, handing me a strand of the bead garland. I know, William, but it didn't feel right not celebrating both. I wanted to show the kids that we can celebrate both, regardless of what we believe. I put the garland on the tree. He shook his head. Are you sure you want to go to all this trouble? Of course. You know that the kids are supposed to come home this winter for the holidays, and we're going to get to see the grandbabies, I responded as I climbed down the ladder. Honey, I need you to stop trying to figure everything out like they're going to be here tomorrow. I need you to focus on now, my hubby said. Sweetheart, please don't burst my bubble. I'm allowed to hope and pray that I will get to see my babies and my grandbabies this year. He put his arms around me. Already. All righty. He kissed the top of my head. Do you need some help? You can help decorate the tree. I smiled up at him. All right, he responded, picking up one of the ornaments that the kids made. I smiled as he hung it on the tree. We took turns picking up ornaments, talking about the memories they brought back. After a few hours, the tree was completely decorated. I stood and watched the lights twinkle for a moment, remembering how excited the kids would get, and they would lay under the tree to watch the lights sparkle. William put his arm around my shoulders. I leaned into him. It is a very pretty tree. I nodded. Yes, it is. I felt a tear slide down my cheek. William noticed. He always noticed. Are you okay? Yeah, just being an emotional idiot, I said, wiping the tears away. You are not an emotional idiot. You're the most wonderful, intelligent woman I've ever known, and you're feeling a little lonesome and you miss your babies. He hugged me to him. I hugged him back. Thank you. Now I need to finish decorating. All right, I'll help make the house look festive, William said, picking up some of the other items I like to decorate with. When we were done, I sat in my chair just looking at the room.
Trisha, that was great.
Hitting us in the feels again with all the wholesome and beautiful and loving relationships. I say that like it's a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. It's beautiful.
It's something to aim for.
It
In this day
is.
and age.
Yes.
I hate to say it that way,
Same. Same. I I ain't tweeting shit. Fuck tweets. Sorry, across the bottom of this on the stream, we use restream.io in order to make sure that we are streaming simultaneously on Twitch and YouTube, and it just said you've received 100 messages today with Restream chat. Tweet it. No. Fuck X.
I'm surprised it's still calling it a tweet.
I know. Well,
Probably because no one would know what the hell they're talking about otherwise. Because it was Twitter for so damn long.
Yes, Bitzer. Here.
Yes.
I may be drinking this one a little fast too.
Just as long as I don't get drunk off you.
That's happened before. There might have also been a bottle of V8 Splash
that fermented.
That fermented, and I set it by my bed, and somebody was like, "Oh, good juice," and then couldn't figure out why they were feeling a little tipsy when she got to work. And I'm like, "Well, what did you drink?" I just had some juice. What juice?
Oh, those were the days when we could drink bad juice and be okay.
Yes, that's how close we are. We lived in the same room and worked at the same job. Please pronounce what? Megalo Megaglobocore or corpse, technically. Corporations. Not MAGA globe corpse, although that might also be accurate.
I was about to say that can't be totally inaccurate.
I mean, look, all I gotta say is Uncle Sam Walton is rolling over in his grave. And yes, it may have been 25 years since I worked there, but I still call him Uncle Sam Walton. Google's free. Next up is our lovely transplant, our resident Australian, who on Tuesday sent us an email going, almost forgot to send this in. On Tuesday. Not due until Saturday. But almost forgot to send it in on Tuesday. No, you can't. No, you can't. Oops, and I'm over here forgetting to take our lovely first prompter's name down. Yeah, you're Wednesday though. That's technically.
You're still second one in, Bitzer.
Uh-huh. All right. And we are back to the lovely machine known as Void. Void was learning. What Void was learning most was that Zinnia had been wanting a great many deeds done for a long time. Void also learned the power of asking nicely. They were also learning the difference between a decent fellow and whatever Aaron was. All it had taken was a few stammering comments from Zinnia to gather half the town of Cairncliff to help. Most of those summoned to the resulting working bee had been grumbling about the truth of Zinnia and the exaggerated stories that had come from Aaron via the pub. Currently, Boyd was learning how to work the plow. It was definitely a question of leverage and opposing forces. The plow itself was made of what seemed to be rough-hewn sticks, but it was clearly a machine. You quit trying to work it all out, Void, said Void's current tutor, Trant Dustdollar. You just work on doing for now. Hold it down, walk forward, and chuck any rocks you find thither. Trant pointed out a wicker basket that Petunia had brought along. She and a pack of other women had been organizing the shed and discovering what was missing and what remained. Words were shouted from within to Orda, who was writing things down on a scrap of bark with a stick of charcoal. A memory flashed, dictating some grand words while a scribe took it down, a quill wriggling over a scroll. They could not remember any of the words apart from punishable by death. The swayback horse kept walking, and Void followed instructions, turning weed-clotted earth into arable field, row by careful row. That's it, cooed Trant. Straight as the devil roads. You won't have enough for harvest share, but you'll have plenty to last the winter at least. And knowing the good wives, you'll have pants and a shirt before the week's out, and a whole suit by bonfire night. I do not need clothing, said Void. I do not suffer from the cold or the heat. True enough, mayhaps, said Trant. Folks like to see things as look like folks wearing clothes. Makes 'em feel right comfortable. Clothes mean you're civilized, that you're welcome. That had explained why Zinnia insisted. She could do more with a simple please than most could do with an entire story, logic, reason, and outright begging. Void was still attempting to calculate how she did it. She broke all the rules that people should follow to influence people to the cause, and yet they joined her anyway. Nerves made her tongue tangle, which should have made her seem simple. People waited, they listened, and found the wise choices behind her stammer. Perhaps it was because she was small and meek that they did so. Void wondered, not for the first time, what would happen if Zinnia got to keep so much as a single ounce of confidence. It may yet be magnificent to watch. When the field was plowed, Void's next task was carrying all the stones from the edge of the field to the cluster of folks putting up a proper barn and fixing the half-built pen. Void was careful to avoid the people rushing around on their varied tasks. That was how they got held up close by Zinnia's house door. Inside, several good wives were organizing food for the crews, and apparently telling Aaron off in the moments he was conscious enough to understand them. Gripe and grumble all you want, Mr. Balvan. We see right through you. Why you never took a wife your own age. Why you did all those things to little skinny Zinny. You ain't never raised a hand to anyone bolder than you. We know. You're trying your darndest to look tough, but on the inside, you're half scared to death. Punch that thing, grumbled Aaron. And look what it got you. Void found a path to the other workers, delivering stone, holding or hauling heavy things, and all the while, Void was learning. Dun dun dun.
I love Void. Every time I hear more about Void, I just want him to step on Arn.
I know. But he already just stood there and took a punch, and Aaron has all the damage.
Oh, I know.
And then what I absolutely love is that the town is just like, you've done what to our Zinny? Oh, hell no. I may have yeah, I can't be objective when it comes to Aaron. No. Yes, congregation of chronic hangers of cliffs. Yes. Our prompters love the Cliffy, not to be confused with other things that it might rhyme with. Although sometimes there's those too. Oh, wonderful Bitzer, also known as Internetter. By the way, if any of you are interested, we have a channel called Promos in the Discord, and every single day, without fail, Bitzer, aka Internetter, aka CM Weller, is posting a microfiction in there, and it's over at Peaked, Peakd, I believe. Yes, to be fair, we are not supposed to be objective about Aaron. No, we're allowed to hate a fictional character who is as bad as he is. But those microfictions are chef's kiss, just glimpses. And Bitzer comes to us from A Moth in the Archive, and I did pop into her stream earlier today and see how it kind of plays out. Don't get to spend enough time on Twitch other than this, but very much, microfiction, introducing these smaller bits and pieces and expanding the verbiage, the vernacular, limiting yourself to 350 words, right? I believe is the number. It really makes it to where it's a powerful punch, right? And how many of us are just blown away by Trisha's, and Trisha's are historically the shortest submissions, and yet they carry such a powerful punch to all of us that were thinking about it after the show, even with people putting in 2, 3, 4, 6,000 plus words.
Not I. Not this week.
Well, not this week, but in the past, any hoozle. Yeah, 250 word minimum, 350 word max. And join us. We are not a cult. I've said every cult ever. So, but no, it's to get down to those micro things, and that's why this month we're doing the wonderful addition of doing festivals. Add some kind of Trisha brought up Christmas and Yule and kind of developed that this was an interfaith couple, and the way that they supported each other with their interfaith relationship. Bitzer mentioned bonfire night. I'm interested to see what that turns out to be. What comparable festival that could compare to, and it's their own world. So yeah, adding in
Okay.
those extra little challenges can help you increase your understanding of your world and your writing.
And everybody loves a challenge. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially like we've seen it with Cash's, especially for her birthday month, and saw how everybody got to work in the extra little caveats.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing, to take a line out of the cult mother herself of the Church of Fuckery. We drink coffee, not Kool-Aid. Um, and some people believe reading, especially in certain generations and time frames and everything like that, that reading, especially for women, was considered to cause fevers and everything like that. For us, yeah, we most definitely probably are a cult, but we drink coffee, not Kool-Aid, and Mama said it was fine, so we're good.
And thank God the mic was off.
You couldn't mute me. You couldn't mute yourself around me. My ears. My poor ears.
Don't give me that bullshit, poor virgin ears. Good God. Who's corrupted who in the last 20 some years? The jury's still out on who is the more corrupting influence.
I would like to
And
say that was probably a little bit of both.
oh, so that makes me the calming influence of the two?
You are the voice of reason.
Fuck you.
And the horse I rode in on? At least I would get some action.
Mm, mm.
Not that we condone bestiality in any way, shape, or form.
Moving on, Lord Almighty, this is the most unhinged night we have had in a very long time. Up next, one of our lovely resident Canadians, SP Stavros. And there is an announcement that the story that she's been working on now has a name. I can't remember. Did you? Hearts Unbridled, right? So our lovely story with Phoebe and Carson with the beautiful glutes is Hearts Unbridled. I very much like that. Don't laud me, canine. Lord Almighty. I gotta play nice. Oh my God. I'm just gonna keep my mouth.
I mean, you
Motherfucker.
have a mute button.
I do have a mute button, except I have a conscience beside me.
You're assuming that I won't agree.
I don't need you blabbing.
I want to blab you.
This is what happens when you get two best friends of 3 decades together. Hydrate or dihydrate. Yum, yum, yum. Because, of course, it's Ryan Gosling. I mean, yeah, that's
Giggity.
I may be drinking that a little fast tonight.
Hold on a second. We got our first
What?
diamonds.
We got our first diamonds. How did we get our first diamonds?
CD.
CD.
What are diamonds?
I don't know what diamonds are, but diamonds are something on the Twitch stream kind of thing. They do cost money. And
I think they're
we
the
appreciate
sending roses over on
the TikTok clacky clock.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Holy smokes. Man.
I just want to acknowledge that before we moved on.
Bebop!
The secret's out.
Excuse me while I die of embarrassment. We're going to get on with the show. SP Stavros's lovely Hearts Unbridled.
You're supposed to break Izzy in the context of a story, not the chat.
She pressed her palm against the door and felt it breathe alongside her starving lungs. Stop trying to figure everything out. Just focus on now, Phoebe muttered to herself. Her mother had been calling back to back, trying to persuade Phoebe to come back to the city. It had taken everything in her to block her mother's number, to cut off access to the person she subconsciously had to be available for. Another gulp of air left her as she calmed down. It was an hour till she had to leave for the auction and meet up with Carson. A tear left her eye as the last shudders of anxiety escaped. Phoebe prepared her best pair of jeans and flannel with a spaghetti strap. This was her first time going to an auction, and she wanted to look her best. I know you're trying your damnedest to be tough, but the truth is you're terrified. Phoebe listened to an audiobook before shutting off her vehicle in front of the auction building. She walked in with a heavy stone settling in her gut. Then she spotted Carson and Tay. Tay was leaning into Carson, her face leaned to look like she were an innocent doe. Her round lips tilted into the perfect smile, the kind that looked performed. Tay's hands reaching out to grasp Carson's hand. She slowly walked towards Carson as she watched him continually moving his arms and hands from Tay's grasp. Carson glanced over the young woman's head and locked eyes with Phoebe. Hey, I saved seats for us. Carson moved toward her with Tay closely in tow. Of course, we had to find you a seat close to the action. Tay's hands reached through Carson's arm and pulled it in between her breasts. Carson stiffened, his face a mask of discomfort. Phoebe cleared her throat and stepped towards the auction doors. A corral in the center of the warehouse, blocked off by metal fencing, had rows of other auctioneers in attendance. Phoebe clenched her fist as she breathed through the anxiety of the crowd. Welcome to the Rocky Mountains auction, Tay's voice came from behind her. Phoebe twisted around, only to be blindsided by Tay holding her phone up, filming herself and everyone behind her, including Phoebe. Her face looked all splotchy, and her posture was bent, Every curve was shown in the wrong way. A wave of ill came over Phoebe. In a rush, she moved toward the crowd, hoping to blend in. Carson fell in step beside her, his mouth frowning as they found a spot to watch the auction clearly. Tay pushed in between Carson and Phoebe, unaware of the gazes the two shot at her. Her camera still pointed at Tay. I am so happy to see you again, girlie. Her bubbly voice left her as she smothered Phoebe in an awkward, one-armed hug. Then she turned the camera towards the horses. Pause! I fucking hate the character of Tay. I fucking hate her just as passionately as I hated Aunt Betsy and all those other mean girls like Brittany and all Riley and or all the other ones that Patrick makes me read. I absolutely fucking hate the character of Tay. Okay, it's out of my system. The host of the auction welcomed everyone and began the procession of horses on auction. Tay made obnoxious noises, showing her supposed awe or surprise, grating on Phoebe. Tay shot a video of her and Carson, then last minute panned over to Phoebe hastily, like she was the intruder. Look who returned to us. Missed you so much. Tay's voice squeaked high. Then a horse walked past them. Her auction board was low, but Phoebe was immediately sold. The horse wasn't necessarily stunning, but the fact it had a scar on its belly and a look of defeat in its eye drew her in. She held up her hand for the horse, and after a beat, no one else contested the bid. The horse was hers. After they finished wrapping up, Phoebe walked over to pay for her horse. Tay ran up towards her, with Carson following, then standing at Phoebe's side. OMG, girlie, you got a horse. You sure you're going to be all right, though? Wouldn't an injured horse be too much? Tay's camera was on and facing to see both women. What I know is that she wouldn't like being talked down to. Carson frowned. Tay exaggeratedly gasped and held her chest. I didn't. I was just... Tay, if you've got nothing nice to say, then say nothing at all. Then Carson blocked out Tay and her camera. Yes. There are some knights in shining armor, albeit dented. That's my little comment aside here. Let's go check out your new horse. His hand was on the small of Phoebe's back as he led the two away from Tay in the cellar. Phoebe handed her check to the seller and then walked closer to the stall with her horse. What's her name? Phoebe tentatively reached out her hand for her freshly bought horse. This is Coda. Didn't expect her to get sold. If you want a show horse, then she's not the one you want, the man said before walking to greet another buyer. Coda. Hi, Coda. You're going to be coming to live with me, Phoebe murmured to the horse. Her hand gently smoothed down Coda's muzzle. She's beautiful, Carson smiled at Phoebe. A large grin flashed on Phoebe's face. It was like she was floating on air. For the first time, she had a horse. Thanks to Carson, she had learned tons over the last while. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm just a call away, Phoebes. He leaned in until they were sharing the same space. His large, warm hands brushed Coda's neck. What? What?
There is a whole empty page there.
There's a whole empty page. There is a whole goddamn empty page. Why is there an empty page, Stavros? What? Stavros?
There was a whole blank page. You just dropped it there?
I'm staring at page 4 of 4 and it's blank. Hey, EJ. Lurk away. Get our numbers up. We appreciate you. Stavros.
And all she says is love ya. Really?
There's nothing. Cash, am I lying?
No, I'm seeing it right here. Remember, I was the one that said it first.
So, Baby B, and for anybody else not familiar with Twitch, down underneath you see that little bubble, right? There's little diamond cheers bits. Most of us will have 0 unless we've spent money on them. And right next to it is a little bubble, right? If you hover over that on computer, what does it look like on?
Same thing.
Oh, same thing on
little bubble.
On mobile. There's this little bubble and it'll have a number next to it. And the longer you watch the show, the longer you watch the stream, the higher those go up. And occasionally it'll turn green or purple depending on which device you're looking at it. And if you click that, you get a bonus. And those are items. Yep. So right next to
Tell her that I'm posting it in the Discord.
She's going to post it in the Discord. But right next to where you type, there's a little bubble. And you can click on that and you can redeem some of your points for those little things that flash up. Now, this is not something available on YouTube. It is only available on Twitch. But it does show up over on our YouTube stream on the screen.
Hello, darling.
There we go. Fitzer's got it. Says Juggernaut B, I see you found them. Perfectamundo.
Oh, she found it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, yep, yep. Man, according to Restream, we've got 17 viewers. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this evening. And we love you. Okay, yeah, we're not going into that version of me. Okay. I'm fine, really. I'm fine. The world was on fire yesterday. The world's on fire now. The world's on fire. It's going to be on fire tomorrow.
I'm not okay.
You're not okay?
There was a blank page at the end of that.
I mean, yeah, there was a blank page at the end of that. Can you imagine if we were to do like some kind of reaction show sitting in the same room, like watching video and like just, yeah, that nothing serious would ever get done.
Once a month.
Once a month?
Just to get some more streamers.
I don't know if I got the spoons for that.
Be good training for me.
This is true. It would be good training for you so that Izzy can go on a date.
Mm-hmm. So I could run everything.
This is
true. Do our friend thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually we're going to get Julie all set up so that she can run her own streams and do productivity. Oh, what the heck is this? No, leave Ryan Gosling out of this, B.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Who redeemed name a future character?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. We have not instituted that. That is Julie DeFisher. We don't have rules regarding that.
Then why is it even there?
Shar was being proactive for when we get bigger. People can redeem it. Now, here's the thing. So, Julie.
Whose story are we naming a future character in?
Creeping in both spots for reasons. Okay, you do realize that it does show your actual name, bro. Yeah, you need to name a future character. So, who redeemed it?
Driver picks the music. Back. Shotgun shuts his cake hole.
I redeemed it.
I thought so.
And
But the whole thing
And
is, it says, "Who are you putting this at?" And I put Kesh.
so she reserves the right to name one of your future characters. That's what she's doing.
okay.
Never mind the fact that she already named Todd.
You know, I've got like a whole handful of characters that need names.
There we go.
Like, you will see that if you are a beta reader.
Which happens to be anybody on the show.
Just saying, if you didn't want everybody to know who you is, because I've been very, very careful to not name drop you, but okay, by all means.
We just don't connect the person to their handle over here.
Too late. He freaking already. Anywhoozle, I'm not saying it out loud. Anyway, next up, we have one of our OG crew from the Authors Pub. And I am very happy. I happened to see the subject line and the what's the word? The review line or preview line. Oh dear God, what do we got? What is going across the screen?
K-Knight just redeemed something.
What the frick?
No, CD just got us to 1,000 of the little bits.
Oh. I can't read without my reading glasses. Sorry.
Okay, hold on. But something else came up. Somebody's in trouble. Oh, yeah, Bits, or somebody's in trouble because somebody lives in my hometown other than this one. So.
Hello, boys.
Sorry, CD. I can't read without my reading glasses.
So, be redeemed. Driver picks the music. Driver picks the music. Shotgun shuts his cake coat.
That's how it is with us. I have to torture her with my music.
Look, I've always said that the driver picks the music, except if I'm the one driving. The number of times in high school when somebody would get, like, I had 6 buttons on my car radio. Okay, most people only had 4 at that time. I had 6, and I had all the major stations pre-programmed, and we would get in my car, and I would literally say, what do y'all want to listen to? And everyone's like, but it's your car. And I'm like, you're guests in my car. I want you to be comfortable. Pick something. And they're like, well, we don't want to make you uncomfortable. Dude, I have easy listening. I have oldies. I have hip hop. I have country. What the fuck do you want to listen to? Because it ain't going to hurt my feelings. Apparently, though, nobody but me likes EDM. Oh, and K-Knight. K-Knight and I. Yes, but this was before you were in my life.
I was going to raves before I met you.
I know. It was like I met my soulmate senior year. Remember, I manifested you.
Emotional damage.
My imaginary friend come to life. Okay. We do so appreciate that, CD, because yes, for the win. Dancing trophies. Okay, so that's what that was. We didn't prep and prepare for that. Whatever.
What's dancing trophies?
Well, the dancing trophies comes up when X number of bits are redeemed and CD has redeemed bits.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. That just gets us further. And again, all monies that are generated go back into the newsletter and things to continue to run this thing. I have not taken any funds from the show for equipment or books or anything like that because I will spend my own money on that and then use it as a tax business write-off. Now we have loaned out money to Julie to get her between paydays, but she then pays it back on payday. And so no big deal, right? We have an accounting for all of that. And again, all those funds are going to go back into our newsletter fee and whatnot. And this year in March, hey, the $100 that I spent on making sure that we have enough newsletter send outs, business write-off. Look. So there we go. We're all good. Yes, EDM is everything. Plus makes an awesome tempo beat for certain things.
Metal is life.
Metal's life for this one, not me, but that is what it is. Any hoozle. Next up is our lovely Trevor Billings. If you have not, wait.
Is this the sci-fi guy?
This
yes,
is
that's right.
sci-fi
You're right,
guy.
sci-fi. You said that. Never mind. Look, I had a long day at work today. Please.
No, B, I am not sharing with the class. This is book 1. Book 2 is out. And it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I still have not read it. I'm sorry. It is also in audiobook. Mills Sci-Fi. I've heard some of it during rough draft form. It's pretty good. However, tonight's submission is in the spirit of the prompts as opposed to the actual prompts. And he says, I'm thinking this one chapter from Wanderer might fit the concept around the first concept for the week. I don't recall what the first concept was. It's fine. But this is from Wanderer. Now, when I say that I need Wanderer in physical format in my grubby little hand, because I have read the rough draft chapters 1 through 5 a year and a half ago, and I need it in my freaking fucking hand, but it has not been published yet. Trevor. Any hoozle.
What?
I know, Trevor. I know you're trying to sell it to a house. Okay, before I lose my ever-loving shit, please welcome Trevor Billings in the house. He's down there as Brainor102016. Our dear friend Trevor Billings, and one of my most anticipated purchases whenever it gets out into print ever, Wanderer. I was already dead when Earth fell. Unfortunately, it wasn't the first time and wouldn't be the last. When you've died as often as I have, little things like bullets don't stop you for long. Blackbeard once gutted me like a fish and threw me overboard for daring to suggest that we shouldn't steal a shipment of food destined for an orphanage. If waking up on the bottom of the ocean isn't a clear sign from your boss telling you to go fuck yourself, I don't know what is. I guess I should introduce myself. I am old, ancient even, and I've seen the rise and fall of all human civilizations. When I was young, sometime around 115,000 years ago, I did something I shouldn't have, and a weird glowing guy told me I would wander the earth forever. We barely had anything resembling spoken word at the time, but it went something like this. You there! Dear God, man! Don't you know how to bathe? Ook? Yes. Well, I want you to know that I saw what you did there and am very displeased. Ugh, I replied, pointing to my big stick. It's so annoying when they're not developed enough to respond. I need to talk to the language department about this one. Lucy, make a note. I don't know what he was thinking, turning up right outside my cave, but I was not having it. In what was possibly the stupidest decision of my short life, I threw a rock at him. Lucy with an I. Bitzer. Lucy with an I. You can see where we're going with this. Maybe. Possibly. What the hell is wrong with you? You've lost the hair. You're standing on your back feet. What more could a monkey want? Shall I fetch the bananas? The glowing guy said, rubbing his forehead in pain. I was very upset, so naturally, I threw another rock. I look back on that day and realize how foolish I was for throwing something at what was clearly a god. I chalk it up to having no understanding of modern language, or what a god was. Sadly, the other man had little patience for a cave dweller and thought I needed to be taught a lesson. Next thing I know, he's shouting something I still don't understand, and a really hot rock smacks me in the forehead. I woke up 3 days later with the worst hangover in human history. And trust me, I've seen all of human history. So before you bring up that one time in college, let me assure you, this was worse. But this journal is not about hangovers or the rise and fall of civilization through the ages. I'm writing to keep an accurate record of what happened when Earth fell, and those squid things left the planet in disorganized chaos. Well, dear reader, I must tell you that you'll be as sorely dissatisfied with me as the mugger that shot me on a Monday morning and left me in an alley with a bullet in my forehead. I truly hoped this would be the last time I died, but as you've no doubt figured out by now, I survived. Again. When I stood from the pile of garbage my attacker left me in, I realized several things. One, my wallet was gone. 2, my clothes were gone. And 3, New York was much quieter than I'd heard in nearly 1,800 years. Not wanting to be arrested for indecent exposure, I wrapped a trash bag around myself and quietly tiptoed my way into the street. I'd been through enough revolutions and massacres to know something. If the invaders were still here, they would have no qualms killing a man dressed in garbage. Because if I've learned anything, it's that people suck. No, not sometimes. All the bloody time. They walk into your cave like they own the place and throw a really hot rock at your forehead. Then walk out laughing like it was the best joke they'd ever heard. I'm not bitter. Seeing the street drew me out of my spiral and sobered me up faster than anything else. In a word, it was chaos. Cars were smashed, streets shattered. Buildings that stood for hundreds of years were nothing but piles of broken concrete. Who could do such a thing? Why would they do it? In my lifetime, only a few nations would dare attack an urban area like this, and with only one worldwide nation, what was the point? A light summer breeze carried a scent I hoped I would never have to experience again. It always meant bad things were happening. It was the acrid scent of burned bodies. Was it the aggressor? No. Attackers would leave the dead to crush the hope of anyone that survived. The mental trauma of seeing a friend lying in the street would do more to crush what little resistance remained than anything else. That meant there were survivors. Deciding my best move would be to find some sort of companion, I went against my instincts and followed my nose to the mass grave. The pungent scent of death led me to where all dreams truly die, Times Square. Someone had gathered the dead into a pile and set them on fire. Looking back, I can say for certain that I would have done something similar. In a concrete wasteland like New York City, it would have been beyond impossible to dig graves for that many people. Several survivors stood nearby, staring at the flame like it was a great bonfire and this was a county festival. Granted, with the government ban on burning wood, none of these people would have ever seen such a fire, but the image sparked a memory all the same. It's a shame trees have become so rare. Children should be able to light things on fire for fun. "Hi," I said, walking up and straightening my trash bag. I can't begin to describe how glad I am to have found other survivors. "Yeah?" a man said with a smile that quickly faded once he got a good look at me. You seem to have misplaced your pants." Laughing nervously, I spat out the most believable lie I could manage. "Well, you know how it is when you get kicked out of the house for eating crackers in bed. She didn't even let me grab my clothes." "And you've walked around in a bag for 3 days?" he asked, scratching his face with a 3-fingered hand. 3 days was about right for being shot in the head, especially considering how long it takes for the power that keeps me alive to push out the bullet. The problem was that if I started telling this man that I'd been killed and came back to life, he would either see me as his Lord and Savior or kill me. Again. Well, yeah, what was I supposed to do? Waltz into someone's home and take what I want? That's a little barbaric, don't you think? I chuckled. I wasn't too often a caveman could call it wasn't too often a caveman could call someone else barbaric. Everyone is dead. We've only found a handful of survivors. Those things, they didn't leave us much, but we found some food and clean clothes. We even have a small camp set up in Central Park if you would like to join us. The apparent leader stuck out his hand in friendship, ignoring my barb. Shaking the offered hand, I felt bad. This man was trying to survive, and I was being a jerk. Okay, I'll admit I'm often a jerk, but that's not the point. So why the big fire? Because, he sighed, I've read enough history books to know that you have to dispose of bodies before they spread disease. I'd bring them to a morgue and cremate them, but unfortunately, there are just too many for that. So you took the next most logical step and set a huge pile of folks on fire, I said, watching a pair of survivors drag another body out of a nearby building and add it to the pyre. Calling it a body was a stretch. There was hardly anything left. Both legs were missing, and the hands were torn and bloody. Combined with the bloat of a 3-day-old corpse, it was hard to recognize it as human. Someone had to step up. As much as I would like to be in my apartment, hiding and waiting for the end, we have to survive. We have to make it until the Republic realizes there are people here and comes back to save us. The soldiers were here? I was stunned. The United Human Republic had never deployed advanced human forces personnel to the surface of Earth for anything other than recruitment. You didn't see them? Oh, you missed out. They came in swinging. They just appeared out of thin air and started shooting. I saw this one guy jump from the roof of the Flatiron with a big red sword made of light and cut an alien in half. It was incredible. The survivor demonstrated the jump by leaping into the air and landing in a superhero pose. When he saw the look of disbelief on my face, he stood up and pointed toward the park. Anyway, we're wrapping up for the day if you want to tag along back to our camp. We have fresh supplies in the park. At the very least, you might find a set of clothes that aren't plastic. I didn't really want to throw in my lot with a group I'd only just met. But like that one time in Mesopotamia, it was time to carve the wheel or leave the block. Stupid desert people and their hypocrisy. I showed them how to make a wheel and they threw me out on the accusation of sorcery. If that weren't enough, the bastards started using the damn things to conquer the world. I was only trying to impress Nana. It's not my fault old Gilgamesh got upset that I was courting his sister. With no good options left on the table, I followed the strange man to his camp in the park.
I know who he is.
Dun dun dun. You sure you know who he is?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Nana and Gilgamesh.
Oh yeah, but he was.
I know those myths.
Also mentioned the whole thing about caveman, no language to speak of, and everything else. All those historical references are entirely through this entire book. And it's amazeballs. Literally, this was the first chapter that I ever got to read. There's been some changes to it, minor changes since the last time I read it 2 freaking years ago. But yeah, I distinctly remember telling him that I was mad at him. I don't tell most people that I'm mad at them, but I told Trevor I was mad at him because he was giving me breadcrumbs when I wanted the whole goddamn foot long. Doesn't this sound like all this, like this irreverent little jackass, you know? And we're not even gonna talk about the outfit that he winds up putting together afterwards. Oh my God, I about died.
Is this the first book? Or that you're talking about, or this one?
Oh no. This is not this book.
Oh.
This is not this book. It is a completely separate item entirely called Wanderer that
Needs to come out yet.
needs to come out, but he's shopping around querying, which is fine. It's fine. I don't get it. I don't get a physical copy in my grubby little hands. It's fine. I do have a digital copy of the entire thing. Any hoozle. Huh?
Nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
It's good to know authors. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying I have a key to your house. You're gonna teach me how to use your computers.
I mean, there is that. This just FYI, Trevor. This is the other one who's going to get a kick out of because your dad was an anthropologist,
and he was also a history teacher.
Yes, and so we're kind of obsessed with history, and all of those little seeds that you put into Wanderer. Just somebody needs to like this book enough to publish it. Just saying.
Without changing it.
Yeah, no, that's one thing.
A talent.
That's one thing, Trevor. Like, I mean, it changed it in inconsequential ways. It is a book that Trevor Billings is trying to query in order to get a publisher to publish this. And I can't wait. There's a reason I have an electronic version of this book that I have not read yet. I read the rough draft of chapters 1 through 5 and made him go back and fill it out more because it was just so good. But I have not read it yet because I want it in my grubby little fucking hands and I want to talk about it. So I haven't read it because I can't talk about it, like not all the fucking details. And somebody needs to publish Wanderer by Trevor Billings. Somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to do it.
I need this book.
I
need this book in honor of my dad. Please.
We're not even going to talk about the 6 foot. Was it 6 foot? 6 foot silicone thing that was colored black? Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Is that a reference to what I think it is? Trevor?
Something that's in my headboard?
Oh.
Or the pink floral dress?
Yeah. Okay.
The bondage gear. Don't forget the bondage gear.
Oh, yes, I cannot forget the bondage gear. Look, Julie and I have kind of been keeping Trevor under wraps because he wasn't coming over here and was really... Yes, as soon as I can sell it, I will let everyone know. Yes, very, very good. And I will be shouting it from the rooftops. And as soon as there is a publication date, I will be blasting it. I will putting it on all the socials as soon as I have an image of a book cover and he does all the book cover kind of reveals, I will be blasting it out because I love this book. And I haven't even read the whole thing, but I read the rough draft of chapters 1 through 5 and I love it. And we all know Izzy only hypes what she loves. I don't need a play-by-play of your life, woman. Baby B. That's what I was talking about. The 6 foot, wasn't it? No, it wasn't a 6 foot. How big was it? It was black and made of silicone. I know what his club is. That's what that was the very first thing I talked about. I love this character so flippin' much. You have no idea. Yeah, nobody expects that. I don't recall if it vibrates, but if it doesn't vibrate, it's still used in the same manner. This did not come from my brain. You might think it came from my brain, but no, it came from Trevor's brain, who is perpetually a 12-year-old boy, and he says it himself.
Okay, I don't mean to like rush us or anything, but we do have 3 more tonight, and it is getting on to be about 9, almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm looking at the time. It's 9:30, my time. We good. Okay.
Batteries are not included. Hey, that's a great movie.
I don't remember. It might have been 6 foot. It might have been 12 inches. I don't remember, but it was worthy of being club sized. Okay. I need everybody to have a copy of this book so I can talk about it ad nauseum. Okay. Any hoozle, we are moving right along. We have got 3 minimum, 4 maximum. Next is Death's Head, aka Wilhelm Friedrich Ruffy. I don't know why I roll the R on Ruffy. I just do. It depends on how it's being used, baby B. We're going to take a quick smoke break. Be right back. Turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, on that note, Izzy had to go put nicotine in her bloodstream. And we are now joined by my feline co-host, Chloe. Mhm. Yeah, the one thing that all authors, doesn't matter if you're indie or you're traditional or anything of that manner, the one thing we absolutely hate, editing and formatting. I won't lie, that's the main reason I hand that off to a certain somebody who's also hates editing and formatting. I do the editing, they do the formatting. Mm. Yeah, Izzy let me know when I popped on today. I've been kind of just keeping a low profile for a couple of days now because I don't feel well. Oh wow, you're good. I have somebody to talk to. Besides the cat and the chat, the cat and the chat. Haha, I rhyme. No, I'm not drinking, though I
You
wish
wanted
I
to
was.
talk to me about something?
No, I just have somebody to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
Besides the cat and the chat. And I said, haha, I rhyme. Cat and chat, cat and chat. And I said, no, I'm not drinking. I just fucking feel like shit.
I'm using this as an opportunity to steal Izzy's chair so that I can actually learn how to do this shit.
That would be helpful because eventually, we're going to end up having to run it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, eventually she'll figure shit out and be able to go out and party and shit.
Yeah, and since I have no life that isn't surrounded by this and books and other shit, it literally huh? Okay, whatever. Um this is my life. This is my Saturday nights. Unless I'm at a show for whatever, or whether I'm at a show or uh even when I was sick, I was still right here. So how do I do the show? We run a very specific program that also runs the back end for both Twitch and YouTube. I have not learned said programs yet because Izzy went through the tutorials on everyone's freaking behalf and learned it from CR McCormick, who was already uh, into doing things on Twitch, and her roommate and everything was already on Twitch. So we got the breakdown from her, and then also Izzy did a lot of YouTube University to get us this far. And with a lot of finagling over the last few weeks, we've been able to literally go in both or be in both spots. So it's amazing, and we love it. And we could not do this without each and every one of y'all. Uh, by the way, Josh, if you're still in the other spot, can you please hit the thumbs up? So we have some sort of activity on the Tubi side.
Who, Izzy?
No,
Like this? If I do that right.
apparently you're just not hitting it in the right spot because there you go.
But I digress. It's totally
I'm
shooting.
hoping that
I
also
mean, baby,
in the
we don't
coming.
want half of what Izzy says on the stream because
No,
we
we will
might
get canceled
just
real
say it.
fucking quick. We will get canceled real fucking quick if a lot of our inside thoughts end up outside thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that a lot of my inside thoughts haven't ended up as outside thoughts. I could just play it off better. Uh,
Well, that's why we have Discord, baby. Juggernaut, Baby B. What are we going by now?
um, Mountain M Ravine, I think. Don't quote me on it.
Okay. Mountain. That's why we have Discord, because then we have a place we can have our unfiltered thoughts. Jugs. Because I'm evidently a 14-year-old boy. Why jugs?
Right.
Reverie. Okay, that's, I think, what I remember seeing.
On the Royal Road. Okay. I'm going to pretend like I know what that is.
So, which do you prefer to be called? Jugs.
%95 of us just call her Baby B
That's
because she is one of the youngest of the group.
bet you I'm one of the oldest.
One of.
I'm not the oldest for once.
No, you are
For
not the
once.
oldest for once.
I'm so used to being the oldest in any group.
Only by 5 months.
Still makes me the oldest.
Well, you know what? It is nice not to be looked at like the baby of the group. Yes, I'm 6 years younger than both of you,
Mhm.
but we have Patrick in between us. So it's like, there we go.
Yeah, I just turned 46, Trisha.
This is a month older than you.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Though none of the
Well, a bunch
46-year-olds
of,
is 46. So
yeah,
That's
neither one
her?
of you.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doesn't look a
Z.
day over 35.
wait a minute. What?
Whatever Z has, because, yeah.
I beg your finest pardon, them.
And CD is 56. Yeah, we're just all a bunch of middle-aged people enjoying our life. That's what it is. And then we got these young whippersnappers coming in that we're trying to teach.
Hey, they're learning. That's all that matters. They're learning.
Actually do this shit.
Oh, so you can actually do this shit.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the whole point of me coming over here.
That was the whole point. So
I think the funniest
want to
part.
read Death's Head?
You can sit on my lap.
I think the funniest part
might
is my
make
birthday
things
lands on a
X-rated.
Tuesday.
And we're not going X-rated on here.
Can we get a better seat then?
Yes, we can get a better seat. Okay, hold on.
Because what no one saw was my leg cramped and I was walking that way trying to uncramp it because I have a bad back and I was sitting on a chair that's not good for my back.
You scooch. And I sit on Grandma's vanity chair. See?
Okay, that works.
Well, 9 times out of 10, it's usually up moving around. So with two people
I am
there.
usually up moving around. I usually am. Ugh. Ooh, posture.
Jerry? You're not supposed to be awake.
Oh my Jesus Christ. Okay, tonight it goes down in history as the most unhinged Izzy performance of ever. This is what happens when Bestie comes over.
I would not say that this is the most unhinged. I think the most unhinged was the night before the blackout, and we didn't give a shit.
Well, there is that, but I mean, we're getting a little racy tonight.
Do I need to pull up the video from that night?
Aw, Kane, you're so sweet. Any hoozle.
Mm-hmm.
In the back pocket.
Do I want to know?
No.
Okay.
No.
Am I going to find out anyways?
Yes.
I thought so. Best friend privilege.
Best friend privilege. This one and me are package deal. This one over here and me is package deal. Y'all just got to put up with it. If you want the Izzy, you have Julie and Kesh. If you want Kesh, you get the Izzy, which means you also get the Julie. If you want the Julie, you also get the Izzy, which means you also get the Kesh. This is just.
And let's not forget about our darling brother, Patrick.
Yes.
And Shar.
And Shar. Yes. But you're almost guaranteed to just get the 3 of us. Yes. And you deal with me. Yes. Because Lord knows if anybody hurts one of the 3 of us. Is it one of your hairs or is it one of my hairs? Because Lord knows I've been shedding like a bitch.
I have been too.
Okay.
My blonde starting to show again. My white.
Middle age. Okay, we are on Yes, the greater Promptcast platonic polycule. Yes, we are a family. We are a unit. You want one of us, you get all of us. Okay, we are on to one of our newest prompters, Death's Head, aka. Let me pull up the name and transition. Yes, you can say it because
Wilhelm F. Rufe. Probably not the way you say the last name, but
I don't know. Bitzer put in the chat one time that it was pronounced Ruffy, Roughie, and so somehow my fucking American tongue just sits there and adds a rolled R to the beginning.
I see Wilhelm. I say Wilhelm.
That's fine.
It's German.
It is German, and the F stands for Frederick. See, it's on the. It's. I know it's really really tiny right there, but it's Frederick.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Fred. I had a cow named Fred. Well, technically, my brother had a cow named Fred. Yeah. Well, he wouldn't come up with names for his heifer calf and his bull calf. So they became Fred and Frederica. Okay. So he is saying no trigger warnings, I don't think. He doesn't have any socials. And he doesn't have any weird names in this. And we are back to my favorite little, the only spider that I have ever requested more of story. Roof? Okay. Ruffy's, I was wrong about Ruffy. Okay, Roof. Roofie. Oh, Roofie?
That might get it censored on YouTube.
Roof? We're saying a last name. Okay. Any hoozle. We're on to the story because, unhinged. God, I'm a gas at parties. I really am. The sun was setting, the long shadows of dusk falling across the grounds as Robert moved up the walk and knocked on the door, finding it ajar. He entered to find Edgar on the phone. His friend glanced at him, then nodded, saying, "Why, he's just arrived now." "Who's calling?" Robert asked, tensing. Edgar covered the mouthpiece and hissed, "I phoned up the sheriff. I know you told me not to, but Lawrence is a good man. I voted for him." Robert groaned, feeling the sudden urge to run back to his car and drive like a demon back to San Fran, or maybe Los Angeles, or get on a steamer and go to China. Edgar waved the earpiece. "Sheriff wants a word with you." "Of course he does," Robert muttered, taking his friend's place and putting the receiver to his ear. "Hello? This the sheriff?" "Mr. Astor," came a dim, originate. Okay. I'm going to just type this word in the chat here.
Oleginous.
I didn't even spell it right. No, I've just never heard of this word.
Which
ever.
is rare.
Which is very, very freaking rare. Because I'm.
You threw Izzy for a loop.
Yeah. That word. I mean, I can't speak French.
Yeah, we're missing the person that can.
And this word apparently I don't know either. I'm vocabulary word for the week. You forget I have 3 mothers and I don't talk to any of them. So oily. I don't know how to say AJ other than AJ.
AH.
No, bits are put in the chat. Anyway, we're getting on. Came a voice which lifted the hairs on Robert's neck. "I hear you've had a tough time in our little county. What do you say to a sit-down meeting to clear everything up?" Sorry, I need to be back in San Fran. Urgent business. I'm afraid that's not an option. I've sent a deputy to pick you up. Robert hissed, biting his lip as he fought the urge to say something he'd regret. The door creaked behind him, a glance revealing Edgar standing behind him expectantly, while his wife and daughter stood anxiously in the kitchen door. With a harumph, Robert said, "Understood." He hung up before he could hear anything else, a ringing silence echoing through the air. After taking another breath, he glanced out the window, seeing that road, as yet, clear, his car standing by. "What did the sheriff say?" Edgar asked. "Sent a deputy to pick me up." Robert rubbed his eyes, several other rude rebukes coming to mind. He left them all unvoiced, though, instead weighing his options. I could run right now, gun the engine, and leave this mess behind. He looked at Edgar and his family, who would all be at the mercy of the sheriff and the men behind him. Damn it all. "Something upset you?" Edgar asked hesitantly. "Nothing. I'll go wait outside." "It might be a while before the deputy arrives," his wife said softly. "We have—" "I said I'll wait outside." Robert marched back through the front door, feeling one last urge to flee in his car. Then he sat down on the porch swing, leaning his head back as he muttered to himself, "Why didn't I tell that flapper no?" For the second time in 2 days, Robert found himself in a car bound for Santa Rosa with a deadly foe on the other end of the ride. This time, though he was chauffeured. Deputy Timothy Danvers didn't seem to be out of his mind, but he was not much for conversation, answering all questions with a yes, no, or mutter that might mean nothing at all. The tense quiet suited Robert fine, as it allowed him time and motivation to think about everything the sheriff might try to glean from him and how to counter him. "I injured my arm trying to break a window in the burning Masonic Lodge, as I thought someone was yelling inside. I drove to Healdsburg because my friend lives there and I didn't know where else to go. I know nothing of what the people in the lodge were doing. I think I saw someone in a dark hood running from the scene." Over and over he practiced his lines. Indeed, practiced not being too practiced, noting a few words he might swap around while making sure there were no details he might add later, both of which were sure tells that someone was building a lie. Robert was sure he had his explanation down pat when the deputy stopped in front of the sheriff's office and the bottom dropped out of his stomach, because Nathan was standing on the steps, the sun shining off a pair of glasses while his arm was tucked in a sling. Shit, Robert thought, taking a deep breath before the door was opened. Deputy Danvers uttered, "Out." Robert took a deep breath, steeling himself as he stepped out of the car and walked with the deputy up the stairs to the door of the sheriff's office. He walked right past Nathan, close enough to reach out and touch the man, but their eyes never met, leaving him uncertain if his would-be murderer had even seen him. That uncertainty fueled his anxiety like dry kindling, fear pulsing through him with each heartbeat as he walked past several nondescript officers. No way to know if everyone was in on the conspiracy or as ignorant as he had been before arriving in the county. And so he entered the sheriff's office feeling like he'd already been raked over the coals. On the far side of a neat desk sat Sheriff Lawrence Tanner, his head like a block topped by a tangle of short-cropped hair, a cigarette burning between his lips as he looked down his long nose at a sheaf of papers. He did not look up as Robert was brought to a chair in front of the desk and gently pushed onto the cushion. Only when Deputy Danvers snapped the door shut did Lawrence speak, his voice oddly high for so large a man, his eyes never leaving the paper. "Little Bird told me that you've had the time in our fair county." "That's one way of putting it," Robert said evenly, trying to give nothing away. Lawrence nodded, taking a puff on his cigarette and tapping off the ash. "Why don't we go ahead and start at the beginning? What's brought you to our little corner of the Golden State?" "A job. Some flapper down in San Fran hired me to find her brother." Robert let the words hang in the air for a moment, then leaned forward and pressed his luck. "Well, you already knew that, didn't you?" "I got a story similar to that from Mr. Simmons, But it's good practice to have more accounts of what's going on. Easier to catch someone in a lie that way, eh? Never said that, Lawrence murmured, setting down the papers at last and looking up at Robert. What would put a notion like that in your head? It's a classic interrogation technique. You're being interrogated now, are you? Lawrence chuckled, folding his fingers together. You do something worth being interrogated for? I came here, got stabbed, and now I intend to leave, Robert replied. And who did the stabbing, Mr. Astor? Or may I call you Robert? Only if I can call you Lawrence. All casual, then, the sheriff chuckled. I'm partial to that. Now answer the question. Why would I want to interrogate the likes of you? Don't know why else I'd be called here. A man who was stabbed by a bootlegger doesn't know why the sheriff would want a word with him? Lawrence shook his head, a knowing smirk curling his lips. A man who was seen running from an arson? Now it comes out, Robert said. Could have started with that and saved us all some time. I thought it'd be polite to give you a chance to lay out your side of the story, but I can see that you're intending to do this the hard way. Lawrence unclasped his hands and tapped his fingers on the table. And that is a play you are going to lose. I'm still not in cuffs, Robert replied, forcing a laugh. And you'd have me in those if you had enough to charge me. I can get up out of this chair and be on my way. Is that what you think? Lawrence asked, pressing a button under his desk. I can hold you for a few days if I wish, give you a chance to cool off and maybe get your story straight. On the other hand, it gives me time to gather witnesses and evidence. Or a chance to dig that spider monster from her hidey hole and feed me to her. What an imagination you have, Lawrence laughed. And are you going to plead spider monster before a jury? I suppose that would get you sent to the lunatic asylum instead of the clink, which you might find preferable. Robert's hands shook. He took a deep breath, trying not to think of an asylum. Oh, are you familiar with lunatic asylums, Mr. Astor? No, he lied, looking away. I can see you're trying your damnedest to act tough, but the truth is, you're terrified, aren't you? Just give me a goddamn straight answer. What do you want from me? I want the truth. The door clattered open behind Robert, 2 deputies stepping in from the hall. And I think letting you cool off in a cell would help us both. Robert stiffened, looking around the room as he thought of fighting them off. 1 arm against 3 men. He rose from the chair, patting away the hand of one man who reached for him. I can walk on my own. Go on, then, Lawrence chuckled, waving him away as he took up his papers. Robert marched between the 2 deputies and out the door, turning down the hall. They marched him down to the door and through to a holding cell. There were 3 people inside, a drunk muttering to himself, a woman in revealing attire who flashed a smile at the deputies, and a man in overalls with a black eye. None of them looked like a spider monster, and Robert figured that releasing on in the sheriff's office would likely, and none of them looked like a spider monster, and Robert figured that releasing on in the sheriff's office would likely draw more attention than this cult would enjoy, and so he let himself be placed behind bars, the doors clanking shut behind him. The man with the black eye looked up, asking, "What are you in for?" "Poking my nose where it doesn't belong," Robert replied, walking to the window and looking out at the lawn below. There he saw Sarah, across the street, human again and standing beside his own car. What is she doing here? Who doing what? The drunk babbled, shifting on the bench where he lay. Nothing, Robert muttered, watching as she jumped back into his car and drove away just as Nathan walked by on the sidewalk with one of the deputies who'd escorted him into the cell. And those 2. What are you mumbling about? The woman asked. Nothing. Stop trying to figure everything out. Robert said to himself as much as anyone else. Just focus on now. He turned around and looked over the dingy little cell, one hand patting a trusty little lock-picking set he kept in his pocket. And right now, I need to get out of here before that sheriff can finish me off. Dun, dun, dun.
Sir. You left some of it out, sir.
I mean, that was just over 1,800 words. You know, that nice little snippet. Can't wait to find out more. The mermaid and the spider monster. And what's the sheriff? Who's this Nathan person? Like, do I forget something from a couple
Nathan
of
was
weeks?
the guy. Okay, Nathan was the guy that was standing outside when he walked up and asked if anybody was looking for work and this, that, and the other. Nathan was the one that put him down the fucking trapdoor. I remember who Nathan is. Yep. See, I was right. So how did his arm get fucked up? Because I don't remember him. Or is that a ruse?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replay. And speaking of which, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to go back through all of the broadcasts and whatnot and timestamp them with submissions. He got stabbed by the spider monster's claws. Okay. And Robert got stabbed too by this. But
I remember Robert got stabbed, but I don't remember Nathan getting stabbed. So it's like, did I miss something?
I mean,
A lot happened very quickly there.
It did. It did.
it did.
Because I don't remember that either, but I'm not doubting the author.
I mean, we're middle-aged women who go through brain fog a lot.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, it seemed like in the reading Nathan had a sling on his arm. I may have misunderstood. I just read the words on the page. and I'm a little bit less critical of a reader when I'm enjoying this, whether it turns into a novella, a short story, whatnot.
Personally, I've got theories.
I'm just enjoying it as it comes.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it as it comes, but I've got theories.
Sorry, technical teaching moment there that wasn't important. I don't know. It's fine, Bitzer. I mean, that's one thing. There's a difference between me and Julie that we've sat and talked about. Like a lot of times, Julie, within a chapter or two, she has to have a title. Otherwise, she kind of flounders, right? Me, I'm like, it'll come when it comes.
And mind you, I wasn't always like that. Was not.
Right. Oh, we've got a gremlin loose. That's fine. Yeah, Nathan's arm was injured, unclear why, though he was in a building which was rapidly engulfed in flames. Might have hurt himself escaping, might be something else. See? Okay, so Nathan's arm was in a sling, and Robert's arm is also muckered up. So, yeah, we've got. I was not wrong. Yay! I'm not going crazy in that way. All right. Well, we have a gremlin loose. We're going to get started. One Artemis Elf, our lovely, lovely friend from the Authors Pub, GT Gretz. Really good stuff. Last week, regaled us with a very YA dystopian feeling thing, a watch and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm scared what we're gonna get this week, but we are up and running because it is 10 o'clock and we're approaching go time. 0 hour 12. Countdown. Chapter 1. When the clock is ticking, the sound of racing footsteps disappears, and one wrong turn could send anyone falling down a rabbit hole. Free fall gives way to the open skies, dewy in the descent toward shimmering blue and chartreuse leaves of trees far taller than anything familiar. At the bottom, racing up too fast, too soon, the hard ground covered in rocks, moss, and sparse bluish grass prepared to catch the newest arrival, a flickering light in the dark, a quiet and sudden promise of change. Kit gasped, sitting up with wide eyes and clutching his chest. The ringing in his ears blotted out the thumping, pounding heartbeats racking his sore body. His pulse thudded along his neck and hammered his head. The light, iridescent and strange, broke between the leaves and cascaded in long beams to the forest floor around him. Pillar of illumination and glistening morning webs of unmistakable weavers made nature's cathedral. He rubbed his sore head as the chirping and squawking of birds cut through the static of pain from impact. Kit looked up, dizzy. The canopy, dense, revealed no secrets about where he was or how he'd come to be in a forest. When last he could recall, he wasn't in a forest. He was sure of that. He checked his hand, no blood, a good sign, given how his bones ached, and muscles screamed with even the slightest movement. Far in the distance, crows called out, and a roar unlike any beast he'd heard shook through the trees. A gasp tightened in his throat, and he scrambled back, scuffing away the moss tangled beneath the velvet soft grass. His back pushed against a fallen trunk. Beetles scurried, and moth-like bugs took flight, hurrying from his as fast as he did the beast beyond the sea of forest. The wind swept low, warm and buttery, and disappeared in a twist around the foliage and flora. Kit's breathing slowed, fingers sinking into the warm dirt. The world was almost quiet. It was nearly peaceful. Steady chirps and chatter entwined with the rustle of leaves and creaking of old wood under the weight of life carried on, undisturbed. The beast was as unnoticed as himself. His eyes narrowed, a shimmer in the distance, heat waves distorting the air, turned thin shadows into mirages that faded in and out as if the trees were moving. Wandering, he lifted a hand to his head again, a twinge shooting through in a bolt of cold lightning. Where am I? He winced, peering around the empty forest. Where is everything? His eyes shifted, scanning the plants and rocks for any sign of life. There should have been something. More than a handful of matured grubs and sounds ricocheting off columns of wood and misshapen boulders jutting from the ground. He knew more should have lived there. But where was it? Kit leaned forward, coming to his knees. What is this place? Beep, beep. He snapped straight, and held up his arm. A black band, fastened tightly to his wrist, glowed with a series of green numbers. The last digit flipped, counting down, then another, and another. His eyes narrowed, turning his arm over to find no means of removing the watch, and no clues as to brand or purpose. As far as he could tell, it had been fixed to him for a reason, but that reason escaped him. His brow crumbled as he searched his thoughts. Everything eluded him, cast in a dense fog and pushed just beyond the reach of his fingertips. What had been before the forest came in flashes, like a fading dream. Had it been a dream? How long had he been sleeping beneath the trees of a forest he didn't know? Maybe this was the dream. He examined his hands, his shirt, his jeans. They were the same as any other day, plain and unremarkable, except that they were clean. Not a smudge of dirt marred his outfit, arms, or anywhere else other than his back, where he'd found himself in the first place. How did I get here? He whispered as he pushed up from the ground, a hand landing against cool, paper-smooth bark. He looked at it, confused at first, then breathed out a deflating sigh. Somewhere in the recesses of his mind, he heard a lecture, some dull orientation about temperature-adaptive plants with smooth surfaces and deceptive vegetation. It was a necessary, voluntold sort of class he wouldn't have otherwise chosen for himself. I was sent here to find. Kit scanned the area. A calmness swept over him, a reflex. It was important to learn the area. He knew that for a fact, but he wasn't sure what exactly he was supposed to focus on. Nothing was familiar enough to quell his agitated nerves. Another sharp bolt sent through his head. He buckled. The ringing returned and reverberated through his skull. A shrill alarm rang, a siren screamed, and then it was gone. Kit gasped, steadily panting and staring at the ground from between his arms. Sweat dribbled down the length of his nose and splashed against the dirt. The grass shimmered and shook. A thunderous rumble rolled beneath him, and a cascade of cracking deafened the sound of life around him. Kit stumbled back as the rock shifted, the ground sliding like water, shaking his vision into a vibrating blur. Frantic, he reached back, swinging his arms and clawing his fingers to the fallen tree for support. Metal screeched against metal, groaning and shrieking before vanishing as quickly as it had come. What was that? Kit huffed, unable to find which direction to look. The trees had changed their positions. They'd not only moved, but they'd turned around, too. Where some had been coated in a thick cape of moss, he could only find their backs facing him, bare and exposed. The clutter of undergrowth had reorganized in new arrangements, dense violet thickets tangling where canary yellow ferns had been. How is this possible? Kit rose to his feet and took a cautious step forward, turning and looking for anything that could explain the sudden shift. But there was nothing. No bugs, no birds, no life, except the soundtrack of birds playing on a loop like a ghost trapped in time. Kit stepped around a grove of saplings, then around a boulder, out of place, yet aged and worn as if it had been there all the while. Not even the ground around it bore tracks of movement, though he was sure it hadn't been there a moment earlier. Nothing had tracks. Bulging roots were as firmly planted as ever. He knew what he saw. The bushy firs and pines had been on his left, not his right. Kit licked his lips. Perhaps he was wrong. No, he told himself. If he started to doubt what he knew, he'd become even more lost than he already was, and that meant survival would diminish. He had to hold on to the hope that what he saw and felt was real. He wasn't mad, and that meant one thing. He had to move. He had to keep moving. There wasn't any time to stand still. A key, he said to himself. There's a key for something. He paused as he crested the gentle hill. Ahead, water gurgled and babbled over rocks, splashing against a shifting sandy shore, the pebbles knocking together like rain on a tin roof on a hot summer's day. Distant, but somewhere in his head, lurked the memory of a porch, cigarette smoke, and a stale conversation he couldn't entirely recall. Kit headed down the hill. He didn't need to see it to know for certain it was fresh, clean water waiting for him. A lifetime of training that he felt in his bones told him enough. He had to get to the stream. It didn't matter if he could summon up the details, his instincts were intact. He looked back over his shoulder. A distant rumble came along the ground in a wave. Stop trying to figure everything out, just focus on now. His jaw clenched, and he forced himself to swallow down his trepidations. He didn't need answers. Not yet. I know you're trying your best to be tough, but the truth is you're terrified. That's not a bad thing. Terrified is awareness, a reaction to inconsistencies, and inconsistency is dangerous. First things first, find shelter, water, food. The rest can wait. Kit took a steadying breath. His nerves ignited, and the hairs on the back of his neck stood on end as the metallic grinding continued, but he had to move. He had to find the stream. The ground trembled again. A grinding of wheels and gears churned beneath it. There would be time to think about that later, much later. But for now, he had to keep his head level. He needed to secure shelter and food more than to stall for a moment of contemplation. Kit skipped and hopped his way over a cluster of ferns that led to a rocky slope trailing to a white creek, stones bleached and the water crystal clear. The scent of salt invaded his nose and prickled cruelly at his eyes. He groaned, mostly to himself, and in part at the water. In all his life, he was sure, though he couldn't remember definitively, he had never once come across a salt water stream. It shouldn't have existed. Waterways drained from glacial or mountainous sources and eroded land in fervent strain to reach a delta into the greater seas, gathering up salient quality over time. Salt should not have been mounded along the creek beds. Then again, the trees shouldn't have been wandering the forest either. All right, well, this certainly is snap. He froze, eyes shifting before he turned slowly around. Amid the violet shade of the trees, a shadow moved, lanky and tall. Kit took a step to the side, then another, moving opposite the figure. It leaned, bending around the trees, hunched and unsteady. Humanoid, it reached out as if trying to correct its balance, but lurched awkwardly all the same. Kit stopped, a hand on the trunk, and so did the figure. It stared, dark and blank in his direction. Hissing a curse under his breath, Kit threw himself behind the tree. His heart raced as the foliage snapped and crackled under the footsteps of the entity. It was taller than himself, and the first living thing he'd come across. He leaned around the tree. Beams of sparkling light shifted as if spotlights on a stage. The wind picked up, knocking through the heavier limbs and boughs above, It then slowed until it dissipated, stilling the wandering sunshine. The forest was empty again. He rolled against his shoulder, turning to survey the area. Beneath the tangle of grass rising along the slope of the hill, chaotic footprints danced one direction and then the other before vanishing in the brush. He took a step back. It was still there. Kit sucked in a breath, the leaves rustling. If he stayed any longer, he would risk everything. The key, answers to where he was, and how to get home. If he was meant to get home. A chill raced his spine at the thought. The doubt. He spun on his toes, shoving away any further what-ifs, and raced along the edge of the creek. His heart pounded as he jumped over a narrow bend, clearing the water and heading back into the thick of trees. Footsteps echoed around him from every direction. Up, he breathed as he came to a twisted tree. If it's down here, I need to go up where it won't see me. One hand over the other, he pulled himself into the branches, Higher and higher he climbed until the trunk narrowed and bent with his weight. His breath caught in his chest as the noise quieted. The forest held still. The footsteps stopped. Kit searched the ground below through the leaves and branches. Something was there. Something had silenced the forest. His hands curled tighter on the branch, not daring to breathe too much. Then the rattle of bugs started again, slow at first, but soon the cacophony of life resumed. A heavy sigh released from his chest, and his weight sagged in the tree. What had followed him was gone. Kit sat, legs dangling as he leaned against the trunk. He sniffed, catching a whiff of sweetness. He leaned closer to the tree, his nose nearly touching the bark as he breathed in the aroma. More delicious than honey and more inviting than pie, but the exact scent was impossible to name. It was another one of those qualities he'd heard about in the lecture, but that was a lifetime ago. Below, the ground moaned. The roots shifted, spreading wider apart. With a loud crack from the rocks and dirt, a brilliant, glossy red hand shot out. Kit grabbed hold of a branch as the hand fished around and grabbed a mass of raised roots. The ground bulged as the creature pulled itself free. Long, white, curved barbs lined its spine, and its round head sloped into its shoulders, faceless except for a wide mouth with bared, jagged teeth. Its front limbs bent back while the hind bent forward, the set pinching in toward each other. Each had hand-like claws. The flesh covering the beast was lumpy and uneven, bald, and in many places raw, as if stripped to the gore oozing meat from burrowing. The beast sniffed the dirt, the roots, the trunk, then turned toward Kit. Its empty face wriggled and bubbled, revealing clusters of dotted eyes at the front of its head. Spittle dripped between its teeth with a low growl emerging from its chest. One claw reached up, firmly digging into the trunk, and the other grabbed hold of the first low branch. The body, lumbering in strain, lifted, aiming up like a fat torpedo stood on its back end. The branches creaked as it climbed, pulling its bulk up into the tree. "That's bad," Kit muttered, quickly looking around for an escape. "No shit, Kit! That's bad! That's bad! That's all you have to fucking say, Kit! Oh my Jesus!"
It's like, you fucking think
You
it's
fucking
bad?
think? Oh, God. I to myself, it's probably fine. Bullshit! If you wrote it, it's probably not fine.
I am loving this monster. I want more.
The collective gross out. Yes, the collective gross out. That's bad. Okay. Sorry, we just had to. He groaned, his feet shifting against the smooth bark as if it were ice. It seemed he'd not been equipped with anything useful for survival besides his clothes, a pair of old Converse, and the memory flashed behind his eyes. Bag. He had a bag, and he dropped it when he was running from crack. The branch gave way, and before he could think, he hit the ground. His head pounded, vision tinted with black around the edges. Kit tried to focus. The beast had managed to pull itself halfway up the tree already. He growled, rolling to his side and then shoving up from the dirt. From the branches, a screech ripped through the air, polyphonic and vicious. Kit stumbled back a few steps as his vision tilted. Its teeth snapped, spraying saliva in every direction as it tried to turn around, unable to find any secure footing. "Oh, you're bad at climbing," he said, a smirk hiding in the corner of his lips. "Now that's good to know." His attention shifted to the distance where he'd decided to go, inadvertently in the direction of the mountains. A thin, twisting trail of billowing smoke rose from the canopy. But that, he added curiously, that looks like something even better than bad climbing. Where there's fire, there's food. The beast shrieked again, turning over and clamoring to find a way down. Kit winced as it clumsily maneuvered from limb to limb. He looked around one more time as if to be certain there were no other mole beasts and headed north toward the smoke. On occasion, he turned back, checking for the beast, but found it had failed to keep on his trail. He was alone, and that meant he was safe. All right, he told himself, Mole Man can burrow, but he can't climb. His vision is probably pretty bad in the daylight if he's mostly underground, but with those teeth, that's a killing machine. He hunts, which means there is prey, there is food somewhere, but he was alone. So whatever that thing was, it's probably solitary. Easy to fight as long as I have the high ground and my... He stopped, hands covering his face. My backpack. I forgot my backpack. Kit turned around, ready to head back, but thought better of it. He stared into the shade and shadows, elongated by the setting sun. Night was coming, and there was no way of knowing what lived in the dark, or if the mole man would find him again. If it did, he was far from prepared to defend himself. He didn't even know what that thing was called, never mind any weak points or if it was worth killing and eating. It could have been toxic, or worse, gamey and fatty. Hold the front door! Gamey or fatty is worse than toxic? Okay. But what the fuck? That was his least favorite combination. He'd rather die of poison or starvation than eat a slimy, gamey, flavorless chunk of mystery meat. Kit pinched the bridge of his nose. No, the mole man wasn't edible. He knew it wasn't, but it wasn't because of it being poisonous. It was because of the memory refused to return. The only thing emerging from the fog was a distant voice, muddled with distortion and the violent rattle of insects. Find the others. Stick to the mission. Understand? He wished he could remember more. Who the others were, what the mission he was on. But it was too deep in the fog. He checked his watch. The number had changed again. Based on the setting sun and the slow fading light, perhaps it was counting down time and would reset when the night ended. No, he amended. It wasn't about the day, but it was counting down to something terrible, and it prickled along his skin and crawled into his chest. Those numbers, ticking by, bode no good omens. Kit rubbed his hands over his face, scrubbing away his wandering thoughts. The most important thing he could do was find that fire. If he could reach it, then maybe there would be others, and he'd be able to figure out what mission he was on and where he was, and with any luck, how to get home. He skipped over a fallen tree, his eyes steady on the stream of smoke ahead. If anyone were tending that distant fire, they would have answers, even if only a few. His watch beeped again, catching his attention. The numbers were still falling, and night was coming. Dun. Yeah. Yeah.
Well done.
Tim. Now I know why she was apologizing to me the last 2 days. Now it's like, Bish, you lucky I love you because I got your address.
And I'll drive.
Emotional damage.
I gotta do it.
I feel icky. I feel very, very icky.
Sucks.
Like, I don't know if it's my skin crawling kind of icky.
Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus.
Yeah, somebody needs to
Yes.
talk emotional damage because apparently.
Easy, Julie, and Kesh all have emotional damage, but at the same time, this one's also living for it.
You realize I have to sleep later.
You had this look of grossed out, but also
You were
ecstasy
freaking
on your
loving it.
fucking
Don't.
face. Look, do you know what happens when a goth chick and a redneck wearing a cowboy hat walk into Starbucks? It gets quiet. Especially because we're both giggling like a bunch of schoolgirls. We do not have very similar interests, and yet we're besties. So what's going to trip her trigger is definitely not going to trip mine, and vice versa.
I can't even say I'm somewhere in between. I'm a different brand of redneck.
Yup.
I'm not quite the brand that Izzy is, but where Izzy dealt with cows and a dairy farm, I dealt with horses and bulls in a rodeo circuit.
Wait, yeah. I mean, I was on a working farm where you could not take a day off. A ranch and a rodeo thing, if somebody's injured, okay, maybe the workout for the animals isn't as intense as it normally is, but life doesn't stop dead cold. You don't need a fill-in. Oh, I see what she's doing. But it's still farm life. It's still farm life, ranch life. It's very relatable. What?
But it's two different sides.
Yeah, twice. Because the first one, I didn't know what I was doing, and it gifted to a random person instead of the person I was trying to.
Did Mole Man make you uncozy? Uncozy? Uncozy?
I am very uncozy.
That's the word you chose to describe.
Yes, that's the word. I'm not uncozy. I'm terrified to close my fucking eyes. Thanks, Glee. I needed fucking sleep tonight. Glecia Marie.
Did it work this time? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you gave it to EJ.
Yeah, so I had to gift 2 to get to figure out the person that I wanted to give it to.
Oh my! I need a drink.
And I stand by my thing. She can freaking paint a picture with those words.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If there is one thing that Glacia is good at, it is writing long sentences that have a lot of detail that can be followed. Right? It paints the picture in your brain. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around trees that turn around and I can actually see it. Can actually see the landscape. And then, God damn it, I can also see that fucking mole man.
Wait.
No. K-Knight can handle himself.
I was about to say, I can't really
because
do anymore.
There is also the YouTube. While yes, we absolutely love that you are hanging out on Twitch and everything, there is the YouTube. I realize Nutter opposes YouTube on moral grounds, which we honor that. But yeah, there she be. There she blows. Okay, Anonymous6. I even don't know who this is because they sent it to Julie. And
it came in through Glee. I don't even know who Anonymous 6 is.
Okay. And so, non 6. The fact that y'all trust us with your writing and being anonymous until you feel better, you know, about revealing, this is freaking awesome. Now, of course, Anonymous 5 has been revealed to be me, so technically 5 is now retired. But there we go. Yes, double protections, Bitzer. That is absolutely correct. It came in through Glee. Glee sent it to Julie. Julie sent it through to the podcast. So here we go. Oh, craptastic. Please, Herd. I have to put it across the bottom. Paste. Duplicate. Okay, it then goes to the top. Okay, and then we rename it. End. Oops, that's not the right keyboard. End. 6. Okay. And then I double click into it and I change that.
Okay.
Okay, now it is still hidden. So we click there and transition. Anonymous 6. Hopefully, should Kesh ever have to take over for a night, all of that part will be prepped up. But gets the gist. All right, here we go. He pushed his palm against the door and felt it breathe. The air sucked in around the edges and relinquished its gasping, creaking moan, opening to a room he had never seen before. The walls lined with mirrors, dust motes unsettled by the inhale. I sat in the corner, forgotten. He walked along the floor, soft padding steps so gentle that not even the spiders were roused. His hands dragged over the mirrors, oily streaks left behind. His face remained hidden behind his mask. The years crept by, alone and burdened by the distant sound of family and friends below. I could not move, and watched instead as the boy, far from a man, stopped and lingered in front of a mirror I had not chosen to gaze upon. Doors led to new places, but what made a door a door? It was a portal, a gateway dividing here from there. The boy reached up, fingers sliding down the smooth slope of his mask. He had never seen his own face before, same as anyone, except me. I knew how I looked. I knew my face was forbidden, but did he understand why his had been too? He tilted his head, the dark slots of his eyes almost reflecting the curiosity he carried in his posture. I wanted then to jump up, take his wrist, and pull it away. It was too late. The ties of his mask came undone with his nimble fingers, and the face he wore fell to the ground with a clatter. Bright eyes, twinkling as if reflecting the sea, stared back. His full lips had a soft curve and a wide Cupid's bow. The angle of his jaw and dip of his cheeks revealed his age. He was nearly a man, but not yet. His trembling fingers raised to brush along the dots of freckles, pale on the skin that had never seen the sun. I know you are trying your damnedest to be tough, but the truth is, you're terrified. He could not hear me. His gaze wandered over the boy he saw in the mirror. His lips parted, elongating slightly the face he had never seen before. Unaware of his audience, he stepped closer, examining the fine details, the folded edge of his nose, the slope of his lower lids, the sparse eyebrows that moved with each emotion. Stop trying to figure everything out. Just focus on now. The woman's voice filtered through the walls. Did you find it? We have to be ready. Yeah, the boy called back. I think I found it. His eyes leaped to me, alone in the corner. The old doll with the face, right? That's the one. Was it in the closet? Yeah, in the closet. He reached down, collected the mask, and then put it on. He tied it securely in place as it had been, as it should be, as it would always remain. Faces were forbidden. He turned and came to my corner, picking me up with both hands. Do we really have to burn it? Yes, dear. Every image of a face must burn, the woman called back. You know the laws. Dun, dun, dun!
Writing style sounds familiar.
Uh-huh.
Can you mute it?
Everything with a face must burn. I've just started to like my face. Come on!
Okay, I would say it's safe to say I'm not sleeping tonight. Very, very safe to say that I'm not sleeping tonight. I
We are going to have one more yet tonight. We are reading mine, and hopefully that will ease anybody with the heebie-jeebies.
I
Okay?
thought we weren't going to read.
What?
I don't feel so bad about what I'm doing on mine tomorrow.
Yeah, I originally calculated based off of what the 4R, the heavy hitter. I originally calculated to read mine as well tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had originally calculated that. So, yes, the heebie need antidotes, and I think I'll be able to deliver that. So, we're going to start with the feel-good Trisha Jones and come in with hopefully a healing Izzy Krause. All right, so real quick though, I need to use the restroom, do a quick half Hufflepuff, and I don't need to refill this. I don't think. Depends on how much I drink between here and there. So, be right back. Because I need to freak the fuck out about the mole man.
I thought the moment was awesome.
Cash, don't take this the wrong way, but you would.
I'm a horror author.
I no, there
I
was an
love
old.
Dahlia.
Oh God, yeah. At least we did. Now, mind you, we would have loved a Dahlia story tonight, but at least we did not have a Dahlia story tonight.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
I
think.
said, I don't feel so bad about my submission piece tomorrow.
Um, mine is gonna flip everybody out. I think. I don't know. I gotta finish it. Well, what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm gonna get up super fucking early. I'm gonna make me a pot of coffee. I'm gonna start laundry, and then I'm going to comb through the chapter from top to frickin' bottom. And then as I comb through the chapter from top to frickin' bottom, I will have the ability to figure out where the hell my submission lies.
Also, Mole Man sobered me right the fuck up.
Way to go, Artemis.
Mole Man sobered you up. At this particular point, I am wide the fuck awake. I don't want to be wide the fuck awake. I am probably going to be up with our crew for whoever ends up staying up tonight after show and be like, hey, somebody's gonna have to talk to me to make sure that I don't go in here and have bad dreams. Not that I'm prone to frickin' nightmares, or at least not nightmares of that sort. Um, but that was very vivid. That's the only way to describe Glee's writing is vivid.
Mhm.
And while we love it, absolutely here for it, will love to see what she does with this. I'm not gonna say that doesn't fucking terrify me.
I
And now I am wondering because I don't take now, mind you, I started out writing horror. I did. I started out writing horror. Um, Mostly it was vampiric horror, but it was horror nonetheless.
I think a lot of writers start out with horror because it's less intimidating because most people know what they're scared of, and you write what you know.
Right. Um, Mine wasn't even I wrote what I was scared of. Um, that was my anchor management, and if I needed to uh dispose of a person who displeased me or hurt me, it's always easier to dispose of a character. And I used to have a binder, and I mean like a 3-ring, 3-inch binder with character sheets of characters in various stories. That it was like, oh, well, you're close enough to the person that I need. You're now going to bite the dust. And they always bit the dust in a very unique fashion. Like I took uh Final Destination to a whole new level.
Hmm.
Though I did use that movie for various uh subject matter.
If
And yes, I am still one of those. I will not drive behind a log truck.
I
Um,
don't think anyone is like, I don't think you even have seen that movie.
need to understand why we don't drive behind log trucks.
Yeah.
But I lived in Northwest Florida, where logging is a way of life. So I worked at a gas station where there was 10 tons of logging companies and logging trucks that came in and out. And if I was running an early shift and they were coming in for like lunch and have refilled the trucks, I would wait till that damn truck was halfway up the fucking road before I'd ever pull out of the parking lot.
Hmm.
If I did manage to get stuck behind a log truck for whatever reason, I would go 100 ways around the long way. Go completely out of my way to not drive behind that damn log truck.
It's her. Oh, that is fantastic.
Grand Theft Autocomplete? What?
Generative AI, where
Yeah.
it's the one that like basically plagiarizes from everybody in Grand Theft Auto Complete. Like Grand Theft Auto, the video game.
Yeah, I know the reference. It was just I don't get the autocomplete part of it.
Like auto completing words like when you're typing.
Oh, hey, look, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's very wrong.
Yeah. So like we're talking about like our first stories. My first story was, I think, could be considered like historical fantasy. And I wrote it when I was 13.
I was
I got
six.
a I got an A plus plus on that. assignment?
I was 6, and it was about a China doll that came to life
Nice.
that grew 9
No,
nails out of its fingers.
no, not dolls that come to life. No,
And that
no,
was before I ever seen Chucky.
no.
But then again, I used to have a Chucky and Tiffany doll. And I'm not talking about the little ones. I'm talking about like mine were like 3 foot tall, and they stood at the end of my bed, and we had a bunk bed. So quite literally, it would like they stood right there by the bed, and my sister would freak out because I would accidentally kick it with my foot. So the damn thing would to my sister, the damn thing moved. And she made me she made my mom make me put them behind glass.
We've got the emotional support rabbit
Support
out.
rabbit, yes, the emotional support rabbit.
Rabbit.
That does not make a bit of freaking sense, because if the creature was already human and then became monster, you're showing the humanity of the monster. And if it happens to interact with humans, it would have a more humanistic trait. So I don't understand why somebody would do that. Though teachers are like, well, that wasn't the fucking assignment. Like, kiss my ass there, Shirley. I see the emotional support rabbit. I'm sorry. We're gonna change the subject here. But sir, you're not wrong.
He's not bad looking for almost 43 years old.
I would not have guessed that. I was gonna guess in its 20s, but not 40.
No, he's 43. He was my 4th birthday present. Or okay, I'm sorry, almost 42 because I'm almost 46. So I got him as my 4th birthday present from my Uncle Mike.
I still have one of the lions left. I think the other lion is somewhere in the bedroom, but in mom's room. But I have one of the lions left that my mom had bought me, because if you guys can't tell, dressed a lion. Um, but my mom had bought me 2 stuffed lions, and they sat on the hood of her Cutlass when I did my senior pictures. And they've one of them have gravitated toward Aries' room. I don't know where the other lion is, but there's 2 of them, or there was 2 of them.
I think Bitzer and Artemis were the only 2 affected by ads. And they now have gifted subs.
This is true.
Bitcher, you're not seeing ads anymore, right? He's got the coffee cup beside his name now, so I don't think you
Okay.
see.
Cool. All right, then we can continue on.
Right.
And we're going to now real quick backtrack because the Google Foo is also strong with Nutter. We love our resident Australian, and Z found the
Oleaginous.
a link to that one word that I didn't know, oleaginous. Oleaginous.
Now you know it.
Now I know how to pronounce it. Do I know what the fuck it means? No, the fuck I do not.
Oily.
It does not give you a
Not on this particular thing, but Kesh has just informed me that Z was talking about it in the
Discord, I believe.
Discord or the chat, that it means oily, oleaginous. So, based on context clues, I was able to give Lawrence the sheriff kind of an oily voice. Okay, so here we go. Let me get rid of things. Now, it is resembling or having the properties of oily. There we go. We don't just read out fun stories, we learn new things. And we have vocabulary assignments. Perfect. Okay. We like boundaries. Any hoozle, last but not least, me for the night. And here we go. Healing the souls of those traumatized by the authors that went before me. The lobby at the Lewis and Clark Motel always smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and old carpet, the sort of scent that anchored Maggie in what could be controlled. While the children slept at Rebecca's, the long hours of her weekend night shifts were wrapped in the next week's school lesson planning, answering late-night room service emergencies, and scheduling reservations. It was becoming predictable, safe. Nothing in it reminded her of the life she'd left behind. She finished typing the night's reservation notes from the ledger into the computer when Carla, the weekend morning housekeeper, pushed through the back room door with fresh-smelling laundry and more lemon cleaner on the cart. Carla was sturdy, cheerful in the way only early risers could be, and perpetually armed with a coffee mug that proclaimed, "I run on caffeine and chores." "You heading out soon, Maggie?" Carla asked, dropping a neatly folded pile of towels onto the counter in front of her. "Yeah," Maggie said, pulling them to a lower shelf to replenish the nighttime stash. The late-night party of teens had taken every last one. "Kids will be waking up soon. I promised breakfast after picking them up this morning." Carla smiled. "You always do. Hey, before you go, you planning on taking the kids to the 4th of July thing tomorrow?" Maggie paused, pen hovering over the last line of the nightly checklist. "What thing? You haven't seen the flyers up all over town?" Carla leaned on the counter like they were discussing nothing more serious than weather. "Every year, the community center puts on a big barbecue shindig out by the river. It's nothing fancy. Burgers, picnic blankets, sparklers for the kids. Folks bring lawn chairs. Some of the ranch families do potluck sides. It's nice." Nice. That dangerous word. "I don't know," Maggie said slowly. "We're not I don't want." She pushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "I wouldn't want to intrude." Carla waved a hand. "Honey, it's Three Forks. If you show up, you're part of it. Nobody bites. Besides," she softened, eyes warm and utterly unaware of the way Maggie's pulse ticked up, "kids deserve to meet new friends, and you could use a break, too." Normal. Another word that pressed against her ribs like a bruise. Maggie swallowed. "Maybe." Carla brightened. "Oh, and bring those little ones of yours early. They'll want a good spot for the fireworks display over the water." The paper under Maggie's hand blurred for a heartbeat. She closed her eyes, flashes of light exploding behind her lids, remembering the last fireworks she'd heard. Sound cover for the blows. She forced air in through her nose. Slow, controlled. "I'll think about it." Carla didn't notice the tightness in her voice, or she chose to ignore it. She only smiled, gathered her cart, and headed toward the rooms. "It'll be good for you," she called over her shoulder. "You'll see." The lobby's back door eased shut behind her. Maggie stared at her list a full minute before she realized she'd been holding her breath. She let it out, steadying herself the way she'd been trying for a month, pressing her fingertips to the counter, grounding herself with texture, with temperature, with the reminder that this place was not that place. 4th of July, a neighborhood gathering, and people she didn't know. She'd come here to start a new life, a safe life. It was about time they started living it, right? She capped her pen, slid the clipboard into the drawer, and clocked out. Maybe. Maybe it was time to try something small, something normal. Just a normal community barbecue celebration. Rebecca lived less than 5 minutes from the motel, just past Stevenson Park. The sun was still low enough to cast everything in that soft, forgiving gold Maggie wished she could bottle for later. She parked in the short drive, killed the engine, and sat for a moment with her hands still on the wheel. Her pulse had settled since leaving work, but the mention of fireworks lingered like a ghost touch on her ribs. "You'll see," Carla had said. Maggie wasn't sure she wanted to. Inside, something clattered, followed by twin peals of laughter. Emmy's, bright and quick, Evan's, lower and breathless like he'd been running. Then Aiden's voice, calm but trying not to laugh himself. They were joined by Rebecca's children, laughing and whooping along. They were happy, safe, and making friends. That mattered more than her nerves. Maggie exhaled, unclenching fingers she hadn't noticed were tight around the steering wheel, and let herself out of the car. Rebecca opened the door, smiling, before Maggie could knock, her dark hair pulled up in a messy bun and a spatula still in her hand. She smelled of pancakes and maple syrup. "Perfect timing," Rebecca laughed. "They're on their second breakfast." Maggie managed a smile. "That tracks." "You look exhausted. Rough night?" "Busy. 4th of July brings all the travelers." She didn't elaborate. Rebecca was a local. She knew the drill. Rebecca stepped aside. "Come on in." The twins barreled around the corner the second she crossed the threshold. "Mom!" Emmy flung herself at Maggie's waist. Evan collided with her hip a split second later, all elbows and enthusiasm. Aiden appeared more slowly, but the relief in his brown eyes was unmistakable. Her little grown-up, cautious, careful, endlessly aware of her mood before his own. "Morning, Mom." "Morning, sweetheart." Maggie brushed a crumb from the corner of his mouth. "Did you sleep okay?" He nodded. "Mrs. Hale made French toast. Real bread, Mom, with vanilla in the eggs." Rebecca laughed from the kitchen. "Your boys appreciate gourmet touches. The daughter, not so much." Emmy crinkled her nose. "It tasted funny." Maggie's chest eased a little. These were good mornings, borrowed normalcy. She wished she could live inside them longer. She moved further into the house. "Before you go," Rebecca said, flipping a pancake onto a plate, "do you all have plans tomorrow? The community barbecue's supposed to be bigger than last year. Music, games, fireworks?" Maggie's breath hitched, barely, but Aiden didn't miss it. His eyes flicked to her face. She kept her voice steady. "Mostly. We might go. I just heard about it this morning." Evan perked up immediately. "Fireworks? Like real fireworks?" Emmy scowled. "Or the boring sidewalk kind?" "Yes," Maggie said softly, "if we go." Aiden watched her carefully, measuring the risk the way he always did. "Only if you want to," he said. "We don't have to." Evan pouted. "Adine, why are you always the spoil sport?" Rebecca leaned against the counter. "It's very family-friendly, Maggie. Lots of little ones. I'm sure Ivan and Emmerich would find some new friends." She suddenly reached a hand out to snatch her own son's hand at the stove, her eyes never leaving Maggie's face. "If Oscar here doesn't get himself grounded, he'll be there to play with them and introduce them to some of the other children. Isn't that right, Oscar?" Oscar looked up at his mother, her face never turning to him. "Yes, ma'am." Rebecca let go of his hand, shoving it away from the burner. "See? And I'll be there too. You won't be alone." She turned back to the skillet, pouring another perfect circle of batter into it. "If you come, find me. No pressure, though." She looked over her shoulder at Maggie. "You have my number if you can't find me. Okay?" Maggie nodded. "Thanks. We'll see how the day feels." "Totally fair." Rebecca slid a plate piled with steaming pancakes toward her. "Take these. They'll eat them in the car anyway." The kids whooped. Maggie laughed under her breath. You spoil them. You deserve the help, Rebecca replied, tone simple as truth. My sister is a single mom. I know how hard it is. Maggie didn't know what to do with that, so she gathered the children instead, Emmy's hand in hers, Evan tugging at her other side, and Aiden calmly picking up the warm plate. Outside, the morning air felt cleaner, brighter. 4th of July. Noise, crowds, fireworks, but also kids laughing, pancakes, kind neighbors, community. Maybe it was time to let the good outweigh the fear, even if just a little, just for a little while. Seatbelts, she reminded as the kids piled into the car. Then we can talk about plans for tomorrow. 3 voices rose in excited chatter, and for the first time since Carla mentioned the celebration, it didn't feel like a threat. It felt like a possibility. The car was barely down the block before the twins started buzzing. Evan pressed his forehead to the window like fireworks might suddenly appear in broad daylight. Emmy kicked her heels against the seat in a steady, rhythmic patter, already narrating which games she hoped would be at the gathering. Even Aiden kept leaning forward between the seats to ask small, practical questions. Where would they park? Were there usually lines? Did people bring blankets? Maggie answered what she could, deflecting what she couldn't, but the more they talked, the lighter her chest felt. Emmy pointed out every house with a flag. Evan speculated whether the town would have funnel cakes. Aiden mused about maybe meeting kids his age. The chatter was relentless, bright, safe. Somewhere along the winding road east out of town, Maggie realized she was smiling. Actually, smiling. Okay, she said finally, half laughing herself. Yes, we can go tomorrow, but we're leaving right after the fireworks, okay? 3 voices erupted from the back seat in triumph. Maggie shook her head, warmth blooming where tension had been sitting all morning. She turned onto the dirt road that led to the cabin. When she turned into the nearly hidden lane, and it rose out of the trees around the bend, the familiar roof line peeked through. Home. She never thought that word would be associated with a place she wanted to be. Seatbelts stay on until we park, she reminded out of habit. A chorus of, we know, drifted in groans from the back. By the time she pulled into the drive and killed the engine, the car felt full of possibility instead of dread. The children waited as asked, then burst from the back seat, running to the cabin, twirling and jumping excitedly. Maggie followed more slowly, her mind swirling around potential futures, her pace deliberate. She stepped up onto the porch, startled when Aiden turned in front of her and blocked her forward movement. Mom, you know we don't have to go, he whispered. She smiled with the smallest hint of sadness and reached a finger out to sweep his bangs out of his eyes. I think we do. It's time to thrive, baby. We can't keep ourselves in survival mode. It's no way to live. He nodded solemnly. Okay, Mom, but don't forget, he said sternly. We can leave anytime you need to. Maggie chuckled. Of course, sweetie. I know. He turned to enter the house, holding the door open to follow him. The cabin felt cooler than she expected when she stepped inside, like the shade had settled into the walls overnight. The children were already in the kitchen, the twins arguing about syrup distribution, and Aiden divvying up the pancakes evenly. Breakfast dishes clinked. She set her purse on the small table by the door and exhaled. For a moment, she let herself exist in the quiet between responsibilities. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. She pulled it out and glanced at the screen. A number she didn't recognize appeared. Her heart jumped into her throat and her vision narrowed. Do I answer? She quickly weighed the pros and cons. Not many people had this number. Maggie had not activated the burner until she'd arrived, only giving it to her boss and Donna, both programmed in her phone. Maybe a coworker or Donna calling from a different phone? She thumbed the answer toggle on her screen. Hello? Her voice sounded tentative and childlike. Maggie? It's Sven. Donna gave me your number. I'm hoping she didn't overstep. His tone was gentle and calm. Her stomach tightened, but she breathed a sigh of relief. Sven, hi. No, it's fine. I just wasn't sure who the number was. I'm sorry, he replied. Donna gave it to me when you gave it to her, and I wasn't sure if it was okay. With a start, she realized he'd had her number for 6 weeks, had rescued her from the side of the road, and had never used it. The ghost of a smile whispered across her lips. Were you just waiting for me to offer but couldn't wait anymore? The silence on the other end of the call said plenty. She could almost see a blush creeping out of his beard to his cheeks, turning his ears pink. Maybe. He rushed on before she could respond. I just wanted to know if you and the kids were thinking about going to the barbecue tomorrow. That's the rumor, she said, lowering her voice so it didn't carry to the children. The kids seemed determined. They should be. It's a pretty big deal around here. A pause. I could come by and pick you up. Makes it easier getting through the crowds, and you wouldn't have to drive home in the dark after the fireworks. There it was, the almost invitation disguised as courtesy. Maggie traced the edge of the door with a finger. You don't have to. I know, he said gently. Just offering. She hesitated, a beat too long. Look, I know you're getting familiar with town, but this is a big to-do. The whole town will be in a smaller space. It can get a person to feeling claustrophobic. Just wanted to offer a friendly but more familiar face for navigation. She let out the breath she hadn't realized she was holding. That might be nice, she finally said, if you're sure it's not inconvenient. It's not at all. He sounded quietly pleased. I'll pick you up around 4. Give the kids time to run around before everything food-wise starts. In the next room, someone yelled, 4 pancakes is not fair! Followed by Aiden's exhausted sigh. Sven laughed. Sounds like a madhouse over there, too. You have no idea, she breathed. He laughed. You're probably right. I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay. See you tomorrow. She hung up and let the stillness return, except there wasn't stillness. Not really. Something warmer had slipped into the quiet. When she stepped into the kitchen, the twins looked up at her with syrup-slicked mouths, the smell of too much maple syrup and sticky filling the air. Well? Emmy demanded, Can we go, Mom? Yes, she said, unable to resist the softness pulling at her mouth. Cheers exploded from the younger ones, while Aiden grinned wildly. Sven's truck rumbled up the overgrown gravel drive at exactly 4. Sunlight glinting off the windshield, a gentle plume of dust following him. Maggie stood on the porch with her arms folded, wrapping around her middle. The twins were already arguing about who got the seat closest to the window. Aiden waited beside her, backpack slung over his shoulder like they were going on a full-day exposition instead of a community barbecue. Sven stepped out of the truck, more dressed up than usual. Good denim, a navy shirt, clean boots. Maggie looked at her ragged jeans, worn tee, and scuffed keds, feeling very underdressed. Hey, he called, lifting a hand. Evan waved wildly. Emmy giggled. Aiden simply nodded. Maggie managed a small smile. You're right on time. I said 4, he replied. Doesn't 4 mean 4 where you come from? He held back, didn't cross closer to the porch until she moved. He always waited for her invitation, every time he'd come to help with the cabin, offering her more emotional safety than he knew. Y'all ready? He asked. The twins screamed what sounded like yes and bolted down the steps to the truck. Aiden lingered, glancing up at her. Mom? I'm okay, she assured him softly. He hesitated, then jogged after the younger ones. Sven fell into step beside her as she left the porch steps. You sure? He murmured. I think so. You don't need to think so, he replied gently. You're allowed to just be sure. She gave a small laugh. It's not that simple. Actually, sometimes it is. She remembered back to the blown tire, the drive to the shop, the ease with which Sven just existed. Not pushy, not withdrawn, just there. They reached the truck. Evan and Emmy were already climbing in as if they'd rehearsed it. Aiden waited for them to get situated before climbing in after them, settling between them and avoiding any fights. Watch your fingers, Sven urged and shut the door behind them. He reached for the front passenger door handle but stopped before opening it. His voice lowered, quiet enough that it wasn't for the children. I know you're trying your damnedest to be tough, but the truth is you're terrified. Her breath hitched. It wasn't accusatory or pitying, just truth. A simple truth. She started, falling silent. Being terrified doesn't disqualify you from living. Maggie nodded. I'm working on it. I know. He paused, letting her see his truth, and pulled on the latch. He opened the door and held his other hand out to steady her ascent into the cab. She didn't respond. She couldn't. But she did take his hand and step into the truck, a modern-day princess ushered into a redneck carriage. The smell of dust and dirt enveloped her as she sat on the faux leather. Sven got behind the wheel, and the interior filled with his presence. Maggie's heartbeat picked up pace, but not in that old terrified way, which shocked her the tiniest bit. She wasn't trapped, but wrapped in the coziest of blankets and safe. Once buckled in, they rolled down the drive, sunlight threading through trees, grass bending in ripples at the wind of their passing. They eased off the drive, Sven watching for traffic even though the road was deserted. He seemed to notice her assessment, a smile creeping through his beard. The kids like to joyride on back dirt roads. Can never be too careful when you're filled with precious cargo. Then he winked. She laughed, rolling her eyes slightly. Knight in shining armor again. The further they went, the more the twins' excitement became its own weather system, commentary about fireworks, cotton candy, how many glow sticks they hoped to collect. They talked around Aiden as though he weren't even there. He looked out the windows, quiet and thoughtful. Sven drove one-handed, relaxed, as though the road weren't a drop-off away from tumbling into a ditch. Maggie stared at the passing landscape. Creek beds, open fields, then fences lined with red and blue bunting as they reached the outskirts of town. They turned toward the park, the traffic becoming thicker, pedestrians walking the berm. Sven slowed the truck to a crawl, matching the vehicles around them. Her pulse kicked. The closer they got to people, the closer she felt her ribs cinch. Sven didn't look at her, but he whispered, calm and warm, "Stop trying to figure everything out. Just focus on the kids." Involuntarily, she took a quick breath, startled that he read her so easily. "I got you," he continued. "All of you." He turned away from her, checking the rear view and over his shoulder, then ahead, turning swiftly into the park at a little-used entrance. He aimed the truck for a back corner of the grass, sweeping in a large circle to face the entrance. She looked into the back seat. Evan made explosion noises, Emmy braiding glow-stick-colored yarn she brought. Aiden silently checked the bag in his lap, was zippered tight. Life, not danger. Nothing to be feared. Maggie exhaled slowly. Focus on the kids. That's all, Sven murmured. He reached over and gently squeezed her fingers on her knee. It's enough. Dun, dun, dun. I can feel the glare. Oh my God.
Okay, first of all, I just want to address something. Himbos are not dumb. Himbos are like usually the most emotionally stable. They just don't show their hand until it's time to show their hand.
See, that's not the himbo I grew up knowing. Book talk and the book girlies have changed what himbo is. Okay? Himbo is the male version of a bimbo. right? That's what I grew up knowing. But Sven is definitely not a himbo. I don't know where this is coming from, but that's my 2 cents.
Trisha called him a sweetheart. I called him a himbo. Like, oh, he's a himbo.
Yeah, see? Patrick said the same thing. Me too, male bimbo. Yeah, see, Kronk from Emperor's New Groove is himbo.
Okay, that is not the way I perceive himbo, and that is not the way that I grew up with himbo. Again, depending on where you're standing and how stupid you really are.
Yeah. Himbo is not the most flattering, but, of terminology, just like bimbo isn't. There is so much hair in balls underneath my feet that I could feel it underneath my toes while I was reading. Ooh.
Say that again. No. Say exactly what you said again.
There's so much hair on the floor that it was balling up against my feet.
That's not exactly the way you said that, but hairy balls.
Oh,
Yeah, Patrick heard it too. The hairy balls. Oh my, what? I'm like,
balls
first of
of
all, did a cat toy get loose?
this stuff coming out of my head. So anyway, yes, hairy balls under my feet. Yeah, okay, well. Anywhoozle, back to the story. It's been about since July since I submitted anything about Maggie and Sven, and this was a perfect time because I've got several celebratory things in it. So December with the celebrations and festivals and things like that as a secondary challenge. I was like, this is the perfect time to go back and pull Maggie and Sven out of the mothballs and also, after all that terrifying bullshit y'all threw at us, I figured we needed something sweet and kind and healing. There's not a bunch of dudes sprawled under my desk. Okay. If there were, I would not be this frustrated. Okay.
Well, I mean, you might.
No, because I know a couple that are quite good at what they do. I would not leave frustrated.
Oh, I didn't say you'd be frustrated. Trying to keep a straight face while reading out a story, that might be a little bit harder.
That you do have a very valid point.
Not sexually frustrated. No, that would be handled. The frustration for you would be trying to keep a straight face.
Anywhoozle, we are on to
the roll.
The rolls. The rolls. So, Julie, we never did decide. We have gone through and taken out everything from the master list that was rolled but not picked, and therefore the lists are well under the 200 needed to do double rolls. So, we never did decide, were we going to just roll once, or were we going to do...
Well, since the dice don't particularly like to play nice, I think we're just going to roll once. And that way we can get everybody used to it going into the new year. Because, springing stuff on our guests are never really a good thing.
No, it really isn't. So that tells us that we are going to do just 3 options for you this evening. We're going to do 1 concept, 1 start line, and 1 dialogue to include. So you only have to vote for 1, 2, or 3 as being the official prompt. As you know, you can also go ahead and put as many of them as you want in, especially if they go together well. And let me switch over to
And you are more than welcome to go into the writing channel, the prompt channel on our Discord, and use any of the old prompts. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
there as a resource for everyone.
It really, really is. There's so many in there. There is also a channel. You may need to go into the channel information thread where we link almost all. I have to go back in and update it, but almost all of the channels have direct links to them where you can just click on them and jump to the correct channel, especially if you don't have your Discord set up to show all channels no matter the activity level. Because some of our channels don't get as much love, and that's perfectly fine. They're mostly there to store information, but there are themes. So if you're writing something that takes place in October and you want some hauntingly good things to spark your curiosity, there's an entire thread in there for that. So good opportunity to get more familiar with Discord because that's where we live. Today they launched their wrap up, kind of like Spotify does, and now YouTube does as well. Like, what did your year look like? And good God, I spend too many hours in voice.
I spent more hours than you did, though. So,
Well, but technically I have 2 accounts. So I got to add those hours together. I don't think it was enough to beat you still. But I was like, there's no way you spent 600 more hours in voice channels than I did. Like
you do
maybe 200.
you do work.
I do work. But you go entire days where you don't show up and we have to send out search parties going proof of life, bitch.
Right.
All
I'm
right.
better about, just saying, hey, I'm gonna be out of pocket for a couple of days.
Yeah, you really do. You need to get better at forewarning us of that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Roll.
ready. 1.
That never happens. Now, if this were critical failure. Copy that. Paste it there.
Not 1. Yep. And it's on 100-sided dice. So it's not like I have like a 00 and a 1. I literally have a 1.
Yep. Okay, concept. A character must give a speech in front of a large audience. They're nervous, but something unexpected happens that changes the course of the event. Well, shit, that kind of goes right into our festivities, festival kind of theme. Okay.
All right, roll 2. 23.
Starting first line, I had never seen her so afraid, not even when the world was falling apart.
98.
Use this dialogue. Why did you bring me here? That's the wrong screen. All right, over in the side chat. All right. So Jugs votes 2 For the starting first line, Mr. Power votes 3. For dialogue, Trisha Jones votes 2. CD votes 3. Bitzer votes 3. Kesh votes 3. Shut up, Siri. Nobody asked you. All right, what did I put in here? Patrick? Okay, Kane is 2. Looking at these.
Nathan is 3.
All right, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Here we go. So over here we have voted. Pippi! We like Pippi. Okay, we got everybody on the Twitch side having voted.
Nobody's on.
Did Glee have to run away?
I'm guessing. Glee, if you're still in here, please vote.
Making sure we don't get double votes from people who are watching both channels. I'm not looking at anybody specifically. Don't ask, I'll tell you later.
Love it. Somebody threw up. Don't be suspicious.
Hey, there we go. That's what I like about Glee. Doesn't care what the trend is going. Votes with her heart.
Always had the ability to scare the fuck out of us.
Exactly, and I can tell by the fact that she voted for the concept, she's gonna use it.
Yeah, she always does.
I'm not saying you didn't. It was more a jab at Julie because, you know, she looks at what everybody else wants and tries to please everybody because she's a goddamn people pleaser. Hey, look, 2026 is the year that Izzy is going to call everybody out on their bullshit in the most loving fashion possible to help people grow and understand themselves and start to truly believe in themselves and the power of their words and their mind. Look, Jugs, I don't have to. She's mine.
I am not a fucking angel, unless you want to count the devil's favorite. But either which way.
Either which way, it does look like prompt 3, why did you bring me here, is the official prompt. But as always, we really, you know, I mean, at this point, the only reason we vote is so that you feel like you have a voice in the matter, but y'all use whatever the fuck you want. What?
To be fair, Lucifer was an
angel. Yes, to be fair, Lucy, which if y'all didn't catch that in the earlier submission where it was Lucy, Luci, in Wanderer.
Right.
Lucy, take a note. So the godlike being looked at somebody named Lucy and said, make a note, because this is not acceptable. So, yes, just like Whose Line, where the points don't matter. Y'all vote, and there is an official one, but y'all always do what the hell you want anyway, so what the fuck ever.
Hell, there was one week that we were literally playing. We picked an official prompt, and I think it was right before we were doing doubles, double rolls. We picked an official prompt, and everybody got on the freaking prompt generators, and literally used everything that they could pull from a prompt generator.
Yep, that is correct.
Freaking hilarious.
Yep, absolutely. So tomorrow, join us, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Adjust your times accordingly. If you're on the if you're in the Eastern Hemisphere, adjust your time to the following day. I'm not even dignifying that with a response. So we will be here tomorrow. Okay, same bat time, same bat channel. We are here plus over on YouTube. And there we go. Also, don't forget that immediately following this stream, if you missed anything, the video on demand or VOD or VOD. I never know with you. So no, I never know with you. Your brain is more in the gutter than mine ever is. Any hoozle. Yes, the VOD, the VOD, is up for 14 days immediately following this on Twitch. Feel free to grab your favorite highlights. Oh, dear God, there's going to be some weird ones on the Twitch channel. You can also watch it immediately following the stream on YouTube for anything missed. And that stays up forever. Don't forget, if you have not signed up for the newsletter, it will be set up after tomorrow's stream, set up to go out at 11 Central, noon Eastern on Monday. So if you are not signed up by the time the show ends Sunday night, you don't get the newsletter, because it won't add you in after the fact. Yes, same time, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
And we will be starting off with Nathan Stark tomorrow. So
yes, we got Nathan, we got Julie, we've got Kesh, and wasn't there a fourth one?
Yes. Baby B changed her name again.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow we will have Baby B, aka Juggernaut, aka whatever her name is this week. That's fine. Trying on new names that are gonna fit her. No big deal. It's why I also cover the name that is on the front of her book that I own, because that's going to change here shortly. Anyhoozle, that's everything that I've got. Don't forget to share us with your friends. I'm not saying bully other authors into joining. I'm not saying bully people into watching it. But if you think that a friend is going to really enjoy us or would like to get involved, by all means, share with them our Beacons link, which from the Beacons link, beacons.ai/hold my pen Promptcast, all one word, you can get to the Twitch channel, you can get to the Discord, you can get to the mailing list, you can get to the YouTube channel, and all the things. And Kesh reminded us that she will not be here tomorrow to cause additional chaos.
Or maybe I will.
Or shit, maybe she will.
Not like you're not on my way home.
I am on her way home from work. And I can't even lock her out because I gave her a key. That's
But
trust.
I gotta get the spawn from
This is true.
the person that walked,
This is true.
and I might
Okay.
have him if I do come over.
And that might be well past his bedtime.
Yeah, might be.
All right. Anybody in the chat have any additional questions, concerns? Mostly questions, curiosities. And if I've already answered the question, you're not getting it again. By the way, also, any questions that you feel should be included in an FAQ, you can always reply to the newsletter or put it somewhere in general, and we'll do our best to answer it. And we can even add it to the newsletter. There is an FAQ section at the bottom of the newsletter. Don't forget that if you release a book, please let us know ahead of time with the cover. If you have submitted a prompt submission for us to read aloud, you're allowed to have your released books or audiobooks and your events that you go to listed. We don't charge for that. We do not charge for that. The only charge is to have written something and submitted it for reading aloud, and that's free too.
No, your only charge there is our deep admission of we are going to critique it and we are going to tell you if we like it or if we don't like it, or if we think that you need a little bit of help with this or a little bit of help with that.
Okay.
We're not here to discourage, but we are here to give you the honest truth and feedback of what is going to keep you moving forward.
Absolutely. And as mentioned in the comments, this is mentioned in the newsletter, and it is also mentioned in our events page, events channel, as well as the events up at the top of Discord. PA Power and Trisha Jones are going to be flirty in Kansas City, February 7th, 2026. Make sure you get your tickets if you are going to be in the area or can be in the area. Patrick's already been at an event with both me, Julie, and Kesh, and now going to hang out with Trisha Jones. Takes a village.
Why do I feel like Artemis is the one person that can bully other authors and get away with it?
Oh no, that one has done it too.
Oh, okay.
I've not bullied per se. I have said, if you've got time to sit there and think of it, you got time to sit there and write it. It doesn't matter if you've got 10 minutes, 45 minutes, or a whole damn week. Well, you do have a whole damn week. But if you got any length of time between meetings, I've been known to come up with some really weird ones in the middle of the freaking night while I'm on my way to the bathroom because my bladder is overflowing. Write that fucking shit down.
Voice notes work wonders on phones. You know, I also realize that sometimes our speech to text doesn't always catch what we're trying to say, but you can also do that in a notes app. You can open up and compose an email to yourself with your ideas on the go. And no, being bullied is not productive. And please understand, we are talking about the bullying that is all done in love and not. No, we're just trying to encourage people to do what they're meant to do. I mean, the number of times that I used to say, I am not a writer. Yet here I am, having written over 65,000 words this year.
She's the reason I'm here.
I mean, we won't talk about the scenes I added to your thing back in 1999. We're nope. Mm-mm.
Oh, the smut you added to my sci-fi?
Look, there needs to be more sci-fi smut.
There really does, because that's really the only good smut, in my opinion.
Ooh, ouch. All right. Take us out, Julie.
All right. Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. If you get arrested, assert dominance. Call one of us in case you need fucking bail money. We will figure it the fuck out. Otherwise, be brave, be bold. Always stay humble. We will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.